To stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. I have to stop going back to you. Back to you.
Just give me a reason, something I could go off. Try to fight the feeling. You don't have to love me. You don't have to love me. love me. Just give me a reason, something I could go off. Try to fight the feeling.
Hello and welcome to the Intel Creator Challenge. I'm Anna Prosser, joined here by Nathanius. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Anna. You know, it's going to be a fun day. We've got a lot of gaming action coming up, especially if you're a fan of Apex Legends out there. There will be tons of that and a steep competition with some awesome prizes to be played for.
Yeah, I'm very excited because I am not super versed in Apex Legends, so I'm very excited to learn from you. But I am super versed in streamers and how they like to compete. I'm really excited to watch that. But before we get into it, Nate, let's spend some time introducing ourselves. Who are you? What do you do? Introduce yourselves to the people at home.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm Nathanius. I am also a Twitch streamer, and I do hosting, commentary, esports, play horror games. I'm a big fan of stuff like Resident Evil, Castlevania, all that sort of jazz, and Apex Legends. I'm not as good as the players we're gonna see today. I'm more of like the caustic that hides and puts all the traps in bunker, hoping that you run into me so that I don't have to to actually land my hits to get you. But yeah, that's about where I am. I like to take things slow.
Yeah. Well, I am also a streamer. I do a lot of hosting in esports, kind of in the geek and gaming arena. You may have seen me doing a lot of D&D type stuff. I used to work for Twitch, but no more. Now I'm just hanging out on Twitch instead. But I'm happy to be here. It's been a while since I've been back in the host seat, and it feels so good. So, speaking of hosting, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the Creator Challenge. We are here in week 3, so we've been doing this for a while. The goal of the Creator Challenge is to compete in this qualifying tournament that can span 1 to 2 days, depending on how far a team advances. So right now we are in a challenge phase. Our teams will be facing off to see which of the top 2 teams get to advance from today in order to join the build phase, which is the most exciting thing because it's a 1-day live in-person event where the winners from each challenge pair up with a modder to help build their very own $15,000 custom modded PC. I am really excited to watch that because I want to know how a PC gets to the point of being worth $15,000, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, I can break out some tech lingo, but to suffice it to say, it's going to be a beastly rig. I don't know if we're going to be putting NVMe drives in RAID or something like that. Perhaps enough RGB that you don't even need to do your Christmas lights. Just keep your PC by the window, and you can show off your swagger all holiday season long when we get there. But yeah, how about that $15,000 PC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
do it.
Light up the neighborhood.
Well, today what we're going to be doing is we'll have 4 teams competing, as you said, in Apex Legends. Then the remaining 2 teams will move on to day 2, where they will play Overcooked 2 and Pummel Party. So that will be a different feel than the very esports type feel we'll have today. We'll have some more variety games, and it will be interesting to see which players excel in each part. So let's take a look at those teams right now. Each of these teams is headed up by someone who really knows their Apex Legends. There's at least 1 or 2 pros on each of these teams, and then they're joined by a variety of different types of streamers who focus on either Apex Legends or other FPSs. There are a few players in here that, of course, are signed with professional teams that really stand out. Anyone that you have been really interested in looking at, Nate?
Yeah, well, one of my favorite players that I've been seeing throughout the years in Apex Legends is Nokokopuffs. He's the guy that jumps out to me. And based on everything that we've seen and the other players here, as you said, many signed to competitive organizations or they stream a ton of FPS. It should be pretty competitive because, again, it's going to turn into which of them can rack up the most points. They're going to be fighting all day long to outscore each other and picking up those frags. So not necessarily hiding, not avoiding the other players. They're going to, it's going to be very exciting to see who can actually get maybe some early momentum going even today.
Yeah, and in this format, it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of skills really shine through because this isn't a typical competition format. We are instead doing 2 kill races. We'll be doing a 1.5 hour kill race to start out the day, and only 2 of the matches that our teams take on will count. So their 2 top scoring rounds will be the ones that count. Now, the point system is fairly easy to understand. 1 kill, 1 point. So they're going to try to get as many kills as they can. However, if they manage to also eke out a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd placement in that match, they can also gain some bonus points for 3 or 2 of those, which is a drop in the bucket in terms of how many kills we're hoping they get, but it could be the difference between advancing or not. So we'll take a 1.5 hour kill race to start the day. We'll take a little break, and then we'll have a kill race for the second half of the day. Same format, same thing. And finally, our 2 teams will advance.
Yeah, so we'll be playing through a ton of Apex Legends, and when you talk about the kill races, and especially with what that means with the top 2 scores that they get, we've had it in the previous weeks, and you'll probably see it today. If a team gets off to a rough start, someone gets picked early, they might just leave the lobby and just queue again because it's just going to be the 2 best games that they can play over the total period of time. So we'll likely see everybody trying to do these hot drops, getting into fights really early. And if they get a couple kills early on, then we'll see them try to get a little bit deeper into the games. But I think with what's at stake, I mean, a $15,000 PC, that's something that I think everybody's going to be giving it their all to try and win, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually I was watching BlissKai earlier, and it is actually BlissKai's birthday today. And people were asking, are you going to go celebrate? And BlissKai was like, no, I am too busy today. I'm going to have to celebrate during the weekend. And, when someone's dangling a birthday present like a $15,000 PC, I can imagine that you would be willing to postpone your birthday celebration.
Yeah, I know that. I can totally see that. If I had any plans today and they're like, yeah, go do the kill race, you might be able to get to the point where you're going to have a custom, and it's not even just like, oh yeah, we found a way to buy an expensive PC. It's going to be custom built with the highest quality of parts, and yeah, that is 100% not an opportunity you want to miss out on. So I totally see that, and hopefully, happy birthday. Hopefully she has a fantastic weekend, and depending on how things go today, could become even better.
Yeah, I hope that birthday luck is plentiful for BlissKai. I'm curious, Nate, how you think that the skills that will be important in these kill races might differ from the skills that would be important in, say, just logging in, playing some pub games. What do you think that people should be looking for here in terms of the change from the play style of our pro players?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest difference is going to be that in a professional level, or if you're trying to play really competitively in Apex, if you're playing ranked, you have the RP that you have to spend to even play. So your ranking points go down when you queue in Apex Legends, and you don't want to die immediately. You take the fights that you can. But for a kill race and pub games, everything like that is off the table. You're just going in, trying to rack up as many kills as possible. There's no hiding. There's no turtling. There's no running away. You want to take every fight that you can and just rack them up. So the speed is going to be huge, and keeping your eyes on the screen, being able to find any opponents that might be hiding themselves is going to be a huge important task for them.
I think we are ready to get into those games, so we're going to get to see that in action. Let's take a look at our first team that we're going to take a look at today in the Intel Creator Challenge. Who are we looking at, Nate?
Yeah, well, we've got Zachmazer on there. So Team Zachmazer coming in, and we can see that the beautiful HUD of Valkyrie coming down reveals a lot of the enemy players that'll be landing around them. I like this choice for a composition, because having the information as you're already landing to know, hey, some people are going to be maybe over here, this side of where we're dropping, it will make it easier to run over and try to engage against them. So I like what we're seeing to start things off, already getting into some action, and hopefully start racking up those kills nice and fast.
Yeah, how many can we expect to happen in the early game? And then at what point do you think these players are going to decide whether or not staying in this match is going to be worth it for them?
Well, it's got to be picking up the early kills like right here, and this is really nice to see. One of the types of strategies people will sometimes do is you'll go up against an early squad and you'll try to take out like maybe one whole team. If there's a second team, you'll leave like one player to run away because they could get a revive, and then you could potentially kill them again. So I think as long as you can take out one team on the drop, you're going to be feeling good about that. Here we had them. I think they took at least one enemy team. Both of the teammates got knocked down. One did get killed. So you might ask yourself, like, would it be faster to just queue up again and try to get into a hot drop if we have to go for a res? And that might be something they're thinking about, because it looks like the third party is coming in on them. So these are exactly the kinds of very stressful. It's like, well, should we even stay in this game? We'll wait and see.
They do have an hour and a half, so it could be that they're saying, let's see how this first one goes. Let's just get a solid game under our belts and then make those decisions as we go on.
Yeah, I guess you could almost use it like a warm-up, right? The pressure will definitely be coming in more in like that last 30 minutes. You're like, okay, we have maybe time for one full game. I think with the level of skill we have out of these players, because they get wiped early in that first round. So you might be asking yourself, like, okay, maybe should have re-queued faster. But you're going to have like, okay, if you only get your top 2 games, you obviously want those 2 games that are going to be counted to be ones where you get the win, because then you can get the most potential points from the first place. But if you end up finishing 4th and you manage to get like 30 kills or something, that's not necessarily bad either. I think it was the last week's competition, we had the teams ending up somewhere around 30 kills total for their qualifying games, which is obviously huge.
It looks like we have the birthday girl herself here. We're looking at Bliss on Team Dropped.
I'm gonna grab this evil.
Yeah, they're out towards the lagoon, and looks like they've already got a couple kills to start this round off. You know, in Apex Legends, you're going to have about 60 players per game. Of course, 3 of them are you. So when you get those lobbies where you're able to pick up 20 plus kills, and you're like, okay, you've actually taken out the majority of the players in the game. So that's why we're going to be seeing a lot of the movement coming around. Bliss's team kind of heads out a little bit, but you can see they're just trying to make the call. And so they can move in on this team, rack up a couple of those points with those flanks coming in. I think that's a bit of the speed that comes into Apex. Movement is so huge. You have to be not only moving around, but checking wherever you leave. Man, those rotations come in fast, and that's well, we're seeing a couple of the teams have tough starts, so I don't know that anybody's breaking away early on. So not too much stress. Everybody's definitely feeling the pressure at the beginning of the competition today.
Well, this team with Dropped at the head, Dropped being an Apex Pro for SSG and a full-time streamer, then joined by Yoojin and BlissKai, who are mainly variety streamers. I guess Yoojin probably plays mostly Apex. How do you think that those team dynamics are going to develop when they have a team like this where you've got one pro kind of at the head as the captain and 2 streamers trying to meld into that?
I think the biggest thing you just try to rely on is, even if they're not necessarily competitive Apex players, we talk about how a lot of these players are, some of them doing Valorant or CSGO, and the aiming mechanics are always going to be useful. The movement is where it gets a bit more tricky, and especially if you're not familiar with playing a tremendous amount of specifically Apex, the movement makes any time that you hear those gunshots in the distance, you know somebody else hears those and is either headed towards them or headed away. So in the kill race, I don't know. That's got to be the hardest part about it, right? Is trying to coordinate with folks that maybe you're not necessarily always playing with either.
Looks like we are looking at a team of one of your faves. We have Nokokopuffs here with Knoqd and Karagii.
Yeah, and we can see they just managed to wipe another team and going for the team res, but no one on the team actually killed in that fight. They've got a good setup of gear to start with. And we're seeing that mobility coming around. Knoqd looking around, just trying to get the aerial view so you can spot. Sometimes you'll have people go up, take the balloons, use the redeploy, get the high ground vision, just to try and find other players. They do have another squad coming over. We had that Peacekeeper, that big shotty getting up in the face of the enemy, but runs out of shells at the last second. So it's going to take the portal over to the team. And this is, I think, that big focus that you were just mentioning, Anna. Sticking together with the team is always going to be helpful in Apex. There's a lot of mechanics for helping to keep people up and standing, especially those Wraith portals.
About team compositions, what do you think we're going to see a lot of here as we are focused on getting as many kills as possible, as fast as possible?
Yeah, composition-wise, the biggest ones that are going to jump out to me will be it's either mobility or scouting, right? You can have Valkyrie, who has the ability to redeploy the whole team, but also on spawn, like we saw earlier, she can track players that are landing with you. So at the start of those games, I like Valkyrie a lot, just for being able to try and keep tabs, who's landing where, are there going to be other teams for us to even try to engage early on. But on the other hand, even someone, a little more slow like Bloodhound can be nice because you're going to see the traces of the enemy that are left behind. So if you do show up somewhere and someone was there but they're not anymore, you'll know where they went, and it can make it easier to kind of follow up, try to follow those teams and pick them off. I like the combination with Wraith. The portal is always going to be nice for helping to reposition the whole entire team when necessary. Same thing with Octane. He's got the big jump pad. I like these compositions. I think you'll probably see a little bit less of the characters that don't have those utility, like probably not many Caustics, probably not many Gibraltars. You're not trying to hunker down. You're not going to want to play defensively here. You want to be pushing the pedal to the metal nonstop every chance that you can get.
Right, because as we said in the beginning, winning doesn't matter that much. Only 4 extra points for a win here, so it's more important that you hack as many people down as you possibly can.
Try not to get a lever.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see that there. They're on the run. They're moving around as we have eyes on Karagii, who has 2 kills so far for the team, and Knoqd over here with 2 as well. And you get into these late game situations where normally players will try to hide. Like, the players that aren't a part of the competition in the lobby will probably be taking it a little bit more slow, which kind of presents in its own way a difficult situation, because sometimes when you're W keying or just running straight into people, you're going to be exposing yourself even more. But I think since it's time limit based and not game number based, there's very little risk to just YOLOing it every once in a while into the enemy defenses.
At a certain point in the game, I guess the plan becomes hide and seek, just seeing how fast you can seek out someone else to kill, right?
Yeah, exactly. And coming in here, I mean, that L-Star, we see a lot of firepower come out of that bad boy. Great for the up close and personal fights. And I mean, these players, they know what they're doing. Nokokopuffs, he's definitely one of the better guys that you're going to see playing Apex Legends on Twitch, and he's fully loaded with some very powerful weapons. I love that. Eva 8 L-Star, just maximum damage, and he's playing Octane, so his whole focus is getting up in your face quickly. He has a ton of mobility, so that's an adjustment that you might otherwise have had, like a longer range secondary. You don't always go for 2 mid-range or 2 short-range weapons, but in this mode, I think it would be a little silly to try and play snipers or anything from a distance.
Especially in that kind of team captain role that we're assuming that Nokokopuffs probably is occupying. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you got to be the leader. And I think, especially, to your point earlier, like if you're playing with team players that are maybe more used to playing Valorant or something like that, you want to be the person that the enemy has their attention on, right? Because you're familiar with that. You have the experience. You've been in those situations, and it can help you to compensate for any, whatever holes your team might have. If you draw the attention onto you as the more experienced player, you can kind of take some of that burden off of everybody else's shoulders.
That makes a lot of sense. Kind of tanking because you know that you're the one that can handle it the best.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Apex. The movement is really fast. It's very, you can cross huge gaps in slow amounts of time, and we have the portal here on Kings Canyon for the redeploy, and coming down, he's just looking. He's looking around. He's like, okay, he's dropping the pings. We can see that's where the communication comes in. You want your team to follow up on this, but I mean, the nice thing about Apex is that if you have the skills to pay the bills like we know Nokokopuffs does, I mean, he could go in and 1v3 on his own, hypothetically. Is it a risky thing to go for? Sure, but comes down, he's got the Eva 8 in the smoke, and
wow.
Well, I mean, there you have it. Getting a ton of damage in early, gets out, and now the team is showing up to mop up.
Yeah, proving your point there, Nate, that if you have somebody skilled enough in a situation like this, you can use the rest of the team to kind of follow their lead when they just jump into these situations that may be a lot riskier for someone with a little less skill.
Yeah, exactly. And he's kind of trying to decide, okay, am I going to go over the bridge, come back over towards Karagii? It seemed like there might have been a third party approaching them there.
Did we get them all?
But not a bad start. He's got 4 kills on Knoqd. And
okay. Right
you see they're trying to discuss where they're going to be moving next, where the last player was hidden. I think that Bangalore might have still been under the bridge with the smoke. Bangalore runs faster when shot at, so more useful for running away than running into someone, and I don't think we'll see a ton of her used on our teams today either.
What do you think the thinking was on the choice here, using that character?
I just imagine that in a pub game, right, you're going to run into pretty much everything, but sticking with Bloodhound for hunting people down, Valkyrie for redeploy, Octane for mobility. Just the jump pad is always going to be useful, especially if you have to cover a large amount of space, or I guess disengaging could be a factor. Like in this game, for example, we got PVPX on the screen there. Only 2 squads left in this game, so they have just one more team to take down. Look at that, 12 kills by the way on Rogue.
Wow. Yeah, we're looking at Team Rogue now with Rogue, PVPX, and Emmyuh. That's 2 Apex pros for Team NRG and Cloud9. Emmyuh is a variety streamer who says she mostly plays Valorant.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not like those skills don't translate. Being able to aim properly and having that mastery over your setup with being able to land those shots is incredibly important. Both games you have to be very on point with the shots to land. Not a whole lot of compensation is going to get thrown your way if you miss. But getting up close with that Octane, that's what we were talking about, is you get right up in their face, everybody's looking at you, teammate comes from the side, and boom, boom.
Wow.
They get the clean up on a nice early match win.
That used to be so
Look at that.
Recently.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of those bonus points, huh?
Oh yeah. I definitely can't say that that's a bad start.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many everybody else had, but you look at that 12 kills plus the first place points, and you set a solid example for the early. It was that 13, 9, and 1. So about 24 kills, I think, total across the board, plus first place. Almost a 30-point match. That's not bad at all. And of course, they've got plenty of time to do nothing other than try to improve upon that result.
Yeah, we were talking about setting a solid foundation, and you mentioned that these 30-point games are about what you need to expect if you're going to try to compete here. So for a foundation to set being a 28-point game, that is not a bad position to be in.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. Probably the hardest part about doing a kill race in Apex Legends is that everybody else also has access to the same mobility tools. That's not vehicle based, it's ability based. People have small frames, can be a little bit hard to hit, hard to track. And I mean, we certainly can't dismiss the possibility that they run into each other in some of these lobbies, which if they're queuing quickly and nobody's paying attention, right, no one's keeping track, you'd be like, okay, well, if two of the teams end up in one of the games, then you might not be able to get any kills if the other team is able to get to them first.
Yeah, I mean, if they get them, those kills belong to someone else.
I guess at the same time, you kind of like, you're also denying them by being in their game. Like maybe they won't get the first place points, so even if you don't get all the kills, it may not be enough for it to matter, because it's the top 2 games out of all of the ones that they play, so you have a lot of opportunity. It's really just about who can pop off harder in those 1 or 2 games where they do their best and they're able to get the big dub, and you know they're not against each other or any other pros.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I wish I could get into the minds and the comms of a lot of these teams to see how they're thinking of the overall strategy for this hour and a half, because like you said, only those best 2 matches really matter. So I'm curious whether they're going in and just trying to be really active at the beginning and then take it slow once they get a groove down as a team, or whether they're trying to set that foundation of like, we're going to leave a match if it's not good and we're going to keep trying till we feel like it's the perfect game. I'm really curious what their their thoughts are from team to team.
Yeah, there has to be definitely like a formula to it, because you really don't want to get caught in like a slag of a game early on. If you get in, maybe you get a couple early kills, but you see the kill feed light up and you're like, okay, well, maybe 10 or 15 of these players are already been eliminated by the time you got through the first fight. I think that can definitely be something that'll be considered. We have Team Knoqd, as there's just 2 squads left. So we have another team very late in their game, Karagii, trying to reposition with the Bloodhound ultimate. Of course, everything's black and white except for the enemy, so it makes it a little bit easier to track. And well, as it's always fun to see a good Bloodhound running around with that ultimate. Can do a lot of work.
Yep, bud.
Come back to me.
Yeah, it looks here like we are now back to Nokokopuffs. I'm so disappointed because I really like Cocoa Puffs. Wonder what he has against them. You know? But
yeah,
switching back and forth between looks like these. We've got Karagii on stream now, looking very serious.
Maybe more of a cinnamon toast crunch kind of guy. I don't know. Who we've got coming in. So we were talking about that final fight type situation to be in. Karagii gets jumped on the side. The 2 teammates in the back. Nokokopuffs behind the rock. They were trying to get a res on their teammate. They used the Octane jump pad to bounce them back. Very, very smart strategy. It works even if you're knocked down. They're going to come over. And I think another important thing to keep in mind is, the worst case scenario, if they get wiped in this fight, they still want to make sure they get all the kills that they can. So you'll see players take more risks in these situations to thirst the knocked down players. Whereas in a more normal competitive, or if you're playing a little more conservatively, you really don't want to die, you're going to knock a player and try to use them as bait more so to drag the other players out. But it's almost too risky to let them be alive for any second in this mode, because then they're going to, potentially get third partied and you never get to get the kill.
That makes so much sense. What do we look? Oh,
there we go. They got that last one. They were able to save Karagii, and I think she got the kill to close that one out. So good teamwork, not leaving each other behind. They're like, yeah, we can win this one, but we don't have to let any of our teammates die to win this one.
I wonder how.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll get to see how many points this one gave this team. We don't know the standings yet, but we do know that 28 points is one to beat. How's it look?
Yeah. All right. So for Team Nokokopuffs, we got 11 on Nokokopuffs, 5 on Karagii, and 8. So 13 plus 11. Doing math in my head quickly is always difficult. I'm not the math guy, but I think it's about 24, 27 that we have. So not bad with the first place. Very competitive, very close to the other score that we were looking at earlier as we switched to another stream, and they also just won a match.
Oh, they're making this winning business look pretty easy.
And they've definitely got the skills. The hardest part is just being like, can you get to enough of the players before you're in the late game, or can you capitalize on someone that's going for a revive?
We got a dub.
Let's see, what do we have point wise on this one?
So we got 9,
On team dropped.
5, 10.
5, 5.
Good game.
Looked like 9, 5, 5, and 9 maybe. So 19 plus the win, give them a 23. Not unfortunately better than the other 2 teams we've seen, but they've still got time.
Yeah, and it potentially, if they're able to get a similar score or a little bit higher than that, it's possible that for the other teams they're not able to get as many kills in future wins. So that's where that 2-game part of it comes into play. But I feel like most of these teams have got to be feeling pretty happy. You have at least one game for all the teams that we've been following so far, I believe anyway, that have gotten a big win with close to that 20 kill mark. And coming in for another fight, we can see another legend that I don't think any of our streamers today will be using caustic gas traps blocking the doors, but they take him down. They break the bunker, and we go back over to Rogue.
Can you get to me? No, I don't think it is a new team. Yeah, it is. Oh, there's a team up top.
I'm healing.
Oh, yeah, you're good. They stole a kill,
They hear the call out, so they know that the team's up top on the zip line, so keeps his eyes over there. And while the teammates are healing, he gets the knock on the enemy player. So you can really see where that teamwork comes into play, having someone that can make those shot calls for everybody else. If you're like, okay, I just want to reload and heal up, I've got someone that can cover my back. That's the most important thing that you could possibly have. So you don't have to worry about getting jumped. You don't have to worry about being caught off guard, and you can just do your thing as we move through. Get another look at PVPX. He's got 2 kills for his team right now, 5 squads left. So about 13 players that they could potentially kill to end this game.
Whoever's
But
fighting
again,
active,
that's
you
the
can't
hard
let
part,
people
right? Is you
steal
don't want them to fight each other too much before you get in there.
Right. Save the kills for us.
You should heal up him.
You were mentioning, those call outs that we're hearing as we listen to the game audio. I would wager that the kill counts will get higher and higher as these teams get better and better at taking advantage of the synergy they find and the communication they learn with each other.
Yeah, the rapport, right? It has to be. It has to be said that you kind of build that trust over the course of these games. You're like, okay, I know what I can expect out of this person on my team. I know what I can expect out of myself, and how do we isolate any weaknesses that are going to be in that way? Do we rotate somebody towards the front? Do we have someone hang back? I imagine it'll be something that we just throughout the course of today's show should be evolving, and maybe we'll have that non-shot caller player pop off anyway, and we'll get a great highlight.
We were just watching BlacKoreaNate, who I was watching his stream earlier. He was saying his biggest fear is that he's going to accidentally curse on stream as he gets very into the action. So good job so far, BlacKoreaNate.
This game gets very intense. You run into a room, you're trying to pick somebody off in a 1v1, and two other guys power slide through the door with shotguns. You stick them with the grenade, you get the arc star right on them, and all of a sudden, you're fist pumping, you're shouting, and the emotions run wild. It's a very adrenaline-packed experience playing Apex, especially when you're just constantly on the run. There's no turtle composition. Nobody's hiding behind a cliff under a boulder, hoping nobody sees them. That would be the best way to guarantee that you lose. So taking that off the table.
I need help.
The mindset too of somebody who is either a pro player or especially a streamer, you're also so used to entertaining while you play. There's probably even an extra amount of pressure or passion that comes from that.
Yeah, it could definitely be more stressful because if you screw up, someone in chat's going to be like, "Lol, the casters saw that," and that's never a good feeling. I've been in an event like this before, and I know exactly how that feels to just completely blow it. Because I do not know how to aim. I just know how to place my caustic traps. But yeah, it can also give a little bit of that edge, right? Some people, when the spotlight is turned on, when everything is on the line, that's when they really shine the most. And I think that's the best part about these types of competitions. You really get to see it brought out. Everybody, Karagii out here with just the pistol, able to get a good knock on that enemy lifeline. Nokokopuffs following up with the assist to keep that one held together. Nice job. Always stressful when you land on the pistol and you're like, okay, I have to take out the enemy team with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen a lot of great play from Karagii so far.
Those guys were stacked.
Yeah, they've had some good. They've had some very good games. They've been very fun to watch. The movement's been really nice between the just that Octane powerhouse, bringing it all together. We look back over at BadGalShay, also running Octane, and they're using that portal, repositioning. They want to see what's going on. They want to head towards where the action is going to be. And in this game, you can see that there's a care package that's kind of falling in these areas near them too. So you're thinking to yourself, how do I find other players in these pub games as we roll through them? And the biggest one has to be, where are the shiny objects that that everyone's going to see coming down on the map and say, oh, I want to go for this. I want to go get the supply drop, get the special golden weapon that comes down. And well, if you're these teams, can't buy them. Hits the teammate with the jump pad there, I think is what she was laughing at. She's like, okay, it didn't go quite where I wanted that one to be.
I'm headed towards this way.
Okay.
Whatever way. Top way.
I'm just gonna see if there's a spitty. There's a purple shield in here actually. I'm gonna just grab it.
Love listening into these teams, figuring out if they are thinking what we are thinking as well.
Literally 1 HP. Kill that guy.
Oh, the infamous 1 HP. That's the best line to tell your teammates when you go in. Gets about 54 more damage before the knock. That's a very common occurrence as far as the comms go. It's like, oh, okay, I got him. He's one. And then you run in, you get him with one shot in the shotgun, and you're like, no, I think now they're one, except their whole team has collapsed on you. But comes up top, does Rogue, gets him with the R301. Very nice combination here. Taking the balanced assault rifle, just, you get good on the mid-range, great on the long range. And if someone gets close enough, he has that shotgun in the back and that EVA 8. If someone gets close to your face with that, you've got 8 shells to blow their head off. So I'm sure he's more than ready for someone to try to contest him up close.
You want to just get him?
Yeah, I think we just kill this Octane.
Are we in
I'm
that
so
hide
lost.
and seek
Is that what
phase?
she's saying?
Yeah.
Got balloon.
I love it. As it gets eyes on someone trying to take the balloon up. And I guess across the quick match queue for this, or however it's going, we've got more of the maps in play somehow too, which also makes things interesting and exciting. First King's Canyon coming back for this rank split was really nice. The OG Apex map. Landing some OG EVA 8 shots, trying to use the teammate shield. The knockdown shield is covered, but not going to be able to make it happen for Rogue. And we'll see them queue up and get back into another one in a moment. Sure.
Oh, I hit one for a flush.
Got to get right back up.
I got one.
See how many kills you can get the next time. Remember, just as a reminder, the format we're playing, they have an hour and a half to play as many matches as they like. Only the top 2 with the most points, mostly based on kills, will be counted as we look to who will move forward to tomorrow's competition.
Yeah, it's almost funny to think about how it's like this is the really intense part. You know, you're going in, you're trying to get those shields up. Both your teammates are knocked down. It couldn't possibly be more of a stressful situation. You're in a competition. You're trying to get up to that build phase. You want that $15,000 custom modded PC, but you got to get both your teammates up. You got to score the points. And you know, when we talk about going to day 2, and you're like, okay, and then it kind of becomes a little bit more the party game action. Gets a little bit more chill, a little bit off the gas pedal. Although I'm sure tomorrow we'll be seeing them take it incredibly seriously, as there is still a lot on the line regardless.
Yeah, tomorrow we will be playing Overcooked 2 and Pummel Party. Both of those games, even in the descriptions of the games, talk about how it's a really good way to ruin friendships. So it's important that these teams are building some bonds today so that they can be ripped apart tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how much of the Overcooked experience that you've had, but I've found that those rumors are true.
Yes.
Especially when I'm doing everything right and all I need is a bun for the burger, and they just can't make that happen. But I'll try to save the rants on that for tomorrow, because I can't wait to feel the vindication when I see it to happen to someone else.
The amount of times I have screamed tomatoes at my friends with pure rage in my voice is very high, thanks to Overcooked.
I'm not playing around.
Yes. The pain, the struggle, even the fun games. You can have just as much of an adrenaline rush watching that timer run out as trying to find everybody else in these games. So over by the apartments over here on Olympus, and this game about 7 squads left as we're watching Knoqd. He's got 3 kills so far, and there's a decent amount of opportunity still in this game. They're kind of chilling in a very central area by a crafting station and a lot of resources. It's not a bad spot to try and find people on, because there is a lot of resources here. And there you go. They're able to get their eyes on another team. Nokokopuffs throwing the Arc Star inside and kind of zoning with that Hemlock. So he's using the assault rifle to just kind of wait for one of them to try to approach the window while the teammates can get in on the flanks. But he's going to be pushed back. So definitely not going up against a super easy to take down pub team.
Yeah, there is an element of RNG to who's going to show up in these games that they drop into.
That's a big time.
Yeah, for all you know, you queue up and you're like, okay, yeah, we could take these guys down. It'll be easy. And then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson shows up. And you're like, oh my goodness, I was not prepared. And you're gonna get you end up making it so deep. You're like, yeah, we've got 15 kills. We can definitely get a few more and win. There's still 6 other squads, but getting shut down at a time like this, I think, has probably got to be the hardest situation to deal with, because you invested the time into the game. You didn't pull out early or get killed early, but you didn't quite make it to where this game is going to count for one of your top 2 matches. So at some point, I think you definitely need to get back out there on the map, and that's what they're going to do, realizing, okay, not enough enemy teams are approaching this position, so we're going to relocate. And Nokokopuffs checking the flank behind the team as well. That Octane stim makes moving around so easy. Come back over to PVPX, and looks like these guys getting into a nice fight early in this game.
I'm just delighted by the idea of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson showing up in one of these games. Either digitally or literally. I think that would add some spice.
Oh my god.
Life is more interesting, I find, when someone with a funny celebrity username that kills you. If you just pretend, you know. Like, oh yeah, no, I was playing Apex the other day. Yeah, I finished second place, but it's okay, because you know the player that used the finisher on me had the username Taylor Swift, so I just assumed that I got beat by her. And you know what? I'm like, yeah, that's not the worst thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah, I've heard Tay-Tay's great at Apex Legends.
I'm gonna scan it.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna heal.
She's built the Octane player. Just doesn't miss a single shot and is constantly running around,
Is there an armor spot?
wrecking people left and right. Makes it a lot more fun to just believe.
Yeah.
That could be me.
We have a nice fight over here. Still 15 squads left in this game. So with one of the teammates knocked and bleeding out, this is where you're like, okay, if my teammate gets killed, are we going to want to go for a res and take that time? We haven't really seen any of the leaving in this though, which I like. It's made things smooth. Made things a lot smoother.
Yeah, we saw all those teams basically finishing at the same time last time around.
Weak at all?
No.
Weak at all?
This guy dropped down. The Gibby, I don't know. Gibby has a shield. I'm
Gibby's super weak.
Well, yeah, they're trying to call out where the last players were.
Yeah.
If they had been able to get the whole team or not, because there could be, when you have these third-party situations, if another squad is nearby, and you're like, okay, I got the Gibraltar, but then another Gibraltar comes in with the same scan, and you're like, did he get res, or?
Come on now.
And answering that question incorrectly and end up sending you back to the Q realm, as it were.
Fuck! I think I just looted Shay's box.
We hear Zachmazer, you're supposed to protect us.
Gotta keep us safe.
Oh my goodness.
And so this is exactly the kind of thing that we were discussing, though, because he's got 6 kills right now. There's still 13 squads left, so there's actually a lot of players. So not feeling like you want to give up on this game. Okay, we'll get the res. We got a ton of kills early on. It's okay for us to take this bit of time. But then, of course, once that's done, you're going to want to get right back up on your feet and moving forward again. We go back over to Karagii getting knocked down. Nokokopuffs with the res. Team player helping him out. That's what we love to see here.
Can't take our kills either.
Yeah. Is he on us?
Yeah, those decisions do become so important. Just what are you going to spend time doing? How much exposure are you willing to allow yourself? And as you mentioned earlier, the exposure may be more worth it when you're in a kill race as opposed to in a normal competitive match, if you will.
Yeah, just taking it slow. It's like, yeah, of course, if you wanted to mega try hard and play just for the win of the match, you don't have to engage every team you run into. Apex is, I think, a really good game, partially because it does incentivize in the base mechanics to take those fights. The shields themselves power up as you deal damage to the enemy players, the Evo shields. So you're kind of always rewarded for winning fights, but you're not necessarily pushed into taking them, which is the fun part of the kill race, because again, it's you're not going to have all the results recorded. It's just about your best, your biggest pop-off, and they are trying to force that, as Knoqd is going to get a nice frag against that Octane. Wasn't quite fast enough to deal with our pro squad, unfortunately.
Yeah, Knoqd is a Cloud9 pro. We're seeing him show off those skills right now.
Oh yeah, we got another match win over here.
Looks like that birthday luck is serving BlissKai very well. Let's see how many points they managed to get this time.
Let's pop that. Oh, she said, and they made it happen. Let's see what we got.
Dubs on dubs.
I'm feeling it right now, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dubs on dubs. 6, 8,
Another good game.
and trying to figure out what the other one was.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
So we're hearing the total for that one was 18 kills. So not necessarily a high scoring game, but definitely if you're feeling yourself, if you've got your team saying dubs on dubs on dubs, then perhaps it's just building that momentum to carry forward into the next game to get even more kills.
And they did win that round, so they are going to get the bonus points of 4. So that'll be 22 points, which brings them closer to a competitive score, if you will. Got 4 points for first place, 3 for second, and 1. Wait,
second floor.
What was it?
In the middle.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be.
Oh, 18 total. That was plus the 4 already.
Okay, yeah, so they're definitely going to be feasting.
Nope. Just kidding, it is 22.
22 or 18. They're going to be feasting for more. Everybody wants to get as close as possible, or obviously higher if they can, to that 30 mark.
Where is he?
But, I mean, maybe we'll end up with a lower scoring total in this lobby. I'm not sure. I guess that's the kind of variety of competitors that we've had over the couple of weeks that have been competing here.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone higher, I believe, than that 28-point game that we saw earlier.
Yeah, so far, and of course, throughout the day, when we get these updates, when we get that information, we'll be bringing that to you. as often as we can. And well, we've got a beautiful leaderboard graphic when we get through our first hour and a half, so you all know who got those points and how they managed to get it done. It's very well made. And we take a look back over here. PVPX getting the res on the teammate. And BadGalShay. So this was the team that we saw that just got that. One of the teams that we saw that just got those dubs. They're coming in. It's very early in this game. 21 squads to go. 59 players. Just get loaded. Get ready to rock and roll. And get into the action as soon as possible. Looks like they have found a couple of teams fighting outside. And I think choosing where you're going to go and which one of these teams you want to try to engage with is a big part of it as well.
Mm-hmm. That guy's
What's up? Go respect that dude. Go shoot that dude back.
Looking at this play from BadGalShay. Taking the high ground, Anakin.
It's a good position to have. It's not in this specific part of Olympus, that boxing ring in the middle. It's completely surrounded by a force field that stops bullets. And if you go inside, you can only punch each other. So it's full of really good items too, but it's like, okay, we can all go in here, and it's like, you know, it's like the dogs barking that can't reach each other. It's like, well, they wouldn't actually do anything, they just want to bark. But once you step out, that's when the fight really begins in Apex. So you have to be super cautious if you're going in there trying to get that loot, because as soon as you leave, someone on that high ground that you were talking about might they might have the lightsaber ready in their hands, Anna.
When the fisticuffs are done, then the true fight begins.
Exactly. So gets Knoqd trying to get on the outside of that. Like we were talking about, there's so many teams and players that have been fighting over here. Comes out on the side, is going to get a flank with the Eva 8 is Zachmazer. So a nice pickup there. BadGalShay still knocked, so trying to clear out the rest of these players so you can go for the res and keep moving. Did get that second one. Not too shabby. Trying to go up the stairs and boom, boom. Really nice nice shotgun usage. I love the Eva 8. That's got to be one of my favorite guns in Apex.
Come here, big
Looking
dog.
like Zachmazer loves it too.
I think they're a little scared of me.
It's so good when you get up close. Just having that semi-auto shotgun to get those taps in. You know, it's not necessarily packing as much of a juicy punch as hitting with like the Mastiff or the Peacekeeper, but the shotgun bolt that lets you fire it faster just turns the Eva into the filthiest. I think there's a reason why we're seeing a lot of our streamers today holding that as their secondary, because again, if you're trying to force fights, you're trying to get up close and personal, shotties where it's at. Or I guess the Magnum will do it too with that wingman landing the headshots. Beautiful play by Zachmazer.
Looks like we're hanging out now with Emmyuh on the team with Rogue and PVPX. 20 squads left in this game, so anything can happen.
Yeah, getting into a nice aggressive start on that one. Rocking the Bolt, short range energy, SMG, and the shotgun. Shotguns 4 days as the secondaries on these. PVPX with the L-Star, huge damage. Falls off pretty hard long range if you're trying to get people with that, but that's not the moral of today's strategy. That's not where we're headed. It's all about the intensity. It's about keeping a really fast pace. And looks like they're off to a good start. 40 players still alive. 3 kills to kick things off. If the teammates have any kills, then they've got to be off to a great start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching.
She's rising.
We're hearing a lot of that communication continuing to develop.
Getting the res on Rogue from Emmyuh. Gonna have to turn around and immediately sees that there is another team there. And it feels dangerous. You're trying to heal your teammate. You're trying to just get situated after one fight and another one immediately starts. But you're actually happy about that because you have the skills to outplay. You have the teamwork. You have the comms. You know, you have the motivation for sure with the prize that you're trying to chase. Thinking about that $15,000 custom PC could potentially end up getting to build. So when anybody that wants to try and attack these teams, go for it. That's all they want. Everybody just come to me. Everyone come fight here. We'll take on as many of you as we have to, and if you take us down, that's fine. We'll just get right back into it and start again.
Switching over to watch Dropped with 2 kills for Dropped so far.
Getting some good tracking there with the flatline on the side. Not necessarily have a ton of resources, but 20 rounds on that R99 can definitely get it done. He's going to come back up, gives the chase, goes for the punch. punch as he had only one bullet left. So gets the knockdown, but he's gonna get knocked trying to reposition for I would say either shielding or trying to reload, whatever it was. He was totally tapped on resources, and this is one of those awkward situations because there's 10 squads left. 2 of you are down. Lifeline, she can revive without having to stay on you, so can get the team up quickly. There we see the drone res, very powerful tool to have when you're in a kill race because you don't want to have to stop and heal, of course. And looks like they actually did end up cleaning up that other team while getting the revive. So excellent crisis management.
Yeah, this is what separates someone like me from someone like these players. When I have 1 bullet left, that's when I start flailing around and sabotaging myself, as opposed to thinking I'm just gonna hit him in the face. You know, that's the mindset you need.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like a deer being chased by a wolf. I'm like, okay, I have nothing left to fight with. I'm gone. See ya. Yep. Running as fast as I can. This guy's like, nope, I'm gonna punch you in the face because I know that'll be enough to knock you down. And another one of the players that came in trying to push them, they're able to pick off too. So this has to be the big potential for a super high scoring game because they have managed to fight, I think, 4 or 5 teams since we jumped to them. And they've been killing all of them. They've been doing a really good job, not taking many losses at all. And that's a ton of frags going towards our friends over here, doing very, very well.
Oh my god. Who would have thought?
It's so stressful.
We survived. Who'd have thought?
I'm dropping 4 mid-kids.
Just survived getting jumped by 7 teams in a row. Not bad. I think when we first went over, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. There's like 16 teams. Now there's 8. So
well done.
I do believe most of that came off their hands. So BlissKai here, gotta be feeling good. Gotta be feeling real good about this match, and even getting some time to do a little crafting because, well, it's fun to shop from the catalog every once in a while.
Oh wow!
Everyone was just coming to Bliss's birthday party. That was what we saw this gathering here.
This is where the party's at.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody in the lobby brought a lot of presents over with those kills. We jump over to BadGalShay. It's got the flat line, trying to take a little bit of a ranged fight, is going to get knocked. Awkward situation because she has the golden knockdown shield, so she can pick herself up, but you can't really use the shield, otherwise the enemy team sees that you have it. And usually, if you see somebody knocked down with the golden shield, like especially in like a public game, it's like waving the red flag in front of the bull. You know, everybody's coming for you because that's one of the most fun items to pull off a revive with in the game.
Right.
But they get this cleanup. They're gonna reset, get ready to move forward. There's 34 players left in that lobby, and here we can see that it's about 8 kills, I think it was.
Yeah, and then we've got 2 here from. Oh wait, did we just switch teams?
He's on you.
Are they like, they're not running into each other yet, are they? Because we're talking very dangerously close situation to where they were before. I think that's the last one. That's where I start to get real nervous because it's like we're talking about how great of a run both teams are having, but if they are in the same lobby and if they do run into each other, then it becomes awful for both of them.
Right. Fun for us to watch, not so fun for them.
Yeah, can't have a good show without a little drama, possibly, right? If there's some tension there, having to deal with each other. But I don't think based on our jump over here, they're not super close to each other, even if they were there. So we get a look back over at Knoqd as they reposition. Has that Wraith up front. Great engage, disengage potential. You're in the call-outs for those shots by the arena.
I'm staying up.
Going to phase.
Nice shot.
Goes and grabs a knock with the shotty and then takes the void run to get out. As there were 2 other teams fighting, kind of got there ahead of everybody else. Now the rest of the team shows up. Nokokopuffs is here and whatnot, so they can mop it up. But that's always one of those stressful situations because if you think you caught someone on their own, but then another team comes in and you're okay, I'm 1v3v3. You don't necessarily want to force those ones. Maybe if you're Nokokopuffs, maybe some of these players feel confident doing that, but I see that and I start to get a little, get a little bit of the anxious sweat.
Lagging. Tap me and go fight up. Go fight up.
Yeah, I suppose we've talked a lot about how you want to take just about every engagement you can get in a kill race like this, but there are times where choosing your fights is probably going to serve you a little better.
Oh no,
Yeah, what a messy situation here, by the way, because they're talking about trying to get a res up, and I think with the lifeline res, we get one of the teammates, but he's knocked down now. One of the teammates is dead, so it's up to Zachmazer to try and clutch this. Does have 6 kills. There's 7 squads left, but one teammate needs to be revived. The other one is bleeding out, so basically still needs to be saved and gets into a 1v1. See that movement coming around? Somehow dances through the hail of bullets, manages to get the Mastiff and the knock. That's just filthy play right there.
The clutch play from this team captain here. What decision do you think he'll make next?
I feel like you obviously want to have the teammates back, right? But everybody else is coming in, and especially anyone that saw or heard what was happening on the kill feed will be thinking to themselves, okay, maybe this is our chance to run in and take these guys out. Good job taking care of that last knocked player, because they actually did have that revive shield. So if you leave that, you're like, okay, I'll look for another teammate. Maybe the reason that they're still down is because they have a teammate alive. Those are the kinds of mind games that end up coming into play in Apex Legends. So you need to make sure you're always keeping count of how many players you've knocked and whether or not you think they're even from the same team. You go back.
Right.
He's coming.
We're watching Rogue here with PVPX and Emmyuh.
Dude, the lifeline res that guy was.
Looks like they just got killed. A 4th place finish in that game. 16 kills for the squad, but just outside of getting those placement points to help. So that's the hard part when you get deep into a game like that and you're like, okay, well it's not even close to enough points to really matter. So bit of a painful reset on that, but that's the struggle of competition, I suppose.
Right. That is probably one of the rounds we've seen that a team is going to want to put on their don't count this one list. But so far, that's one of the only ones we've seen. I think 18 was our previous lowest score. So still showing a respectable amount of kills over here.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we're not going to see it slow down at all. As like we've been talking about, it's 90 minutes for the first part here of this kill race, where we're going to take those top 2 scores from each team, top 2 games that they had. So only those big ones will be counted, but it is going to be more kill race after for the second part. So if anything, the worst case scenario is that it's just a really nice warm up to be able to have, right?
Yeah, in case you're just joining us, we are here at the Intel Creator Challenge. We've got 4 teams competing. 2 of those teams will advance till tomorrow, where we'll play Overcooked 2 and Pummel. Another party game. Pummel Party. Yes, that's it. Pummel Party. And they will be trying to reach the build phase, where on the line is a $15,000 custom modded PC. So that's what's on the line here, and why all of these teams are trying to get as many kills as they possibly can, as we are in a kill race.
I think everyone just killed each other.
Nice, we get to see this team. I'm talking about this kill race. They get another dub. Now, the big question isn't whether or not they can win. We know these teams, we know these players, these guys and gals. They have the ability to get it done, but they need to do it with, the ridiculous requirement of having taken out most of the lobby if they want to win. It's about who can do it and have the biggest impact on the game. So they get first place. Looks like total 15 kills for the squad. So close to that 20 mark. Not maybe the number of frags that they were wanting, but a good momentum. We've kind of seen them being just going from win to win. So
yeah, they've been taking advantage of those bonus points for sure.
You guys, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I've never even.
Let's take a moment and actually look at the updated scores. We can check out the standings right now for all these teams, as we've seen quite a few matches so far. Looks like we've seen, oh wow, a 30+ score here from Team Nokokopuffs. We see them sitting with 34 and 28. Rogue sitting with 27 and 23. We have 0 and 0 for Zachmazer. I'm not sure why that is, whether they've just not finished a match or something has yet to be updated. And then Team Dropped, we've got 23 and 22. So like you said, unless you're breaking 20, you're not really at a competitive point here in this match.
Yeah, the level of competition is just super fierce, and yeah, we're waiting for them to get a couple of matches where they can get those kills and the dubs for the score submission. So I guess they haven't reached a point total that they're happy with as setting for their top finish in those games. But Yeah, how about that 34-point game? So what is that? First place and 30 kills across the whole squad. That is going to be very hard to beat. Team Nokokopuffs looking good.
Is it actually pros?
And they've got, and this even in this game, there's 17 squads left. Already has 5 kills for Nokokopuffs. So
yeah,
if they're able to beat them, if they can beat their own score, I think that will be equally mind-boggling as having done it in the first place.
Yeah, I think their other score was 28. So if we see 2 30+ scores, then that's going to be a team to beat for sure.
I'm at 5, bro. I'm not trying to lose this.
And at that point, that's when you really start to think about what the current state is, right? When you're looking at the clock, how much time do we have left? Can we afford to go into a game where there's 10 squads left and we only have like 5 or 7 kills spread across the team? And I feel like the answer there starts to become a little bit more on the no side, but you're only going to have so much time to put that work in. And if you go to the late game in Apex, if you're getting a lot of kills, it can be a bit faster. But if one of the teams that you're trying to pick off, or the team that someone stalls you out, that can be devastating. You know, someone they lock down, they get the fences in front of the doors, the gas traps on the inside, and you're like, well, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I do wonder if we're going to see a lot more of these, like, this match isn't worth it, let's leave, as we get closer to the end game.
Yeah, I think the last thing that you want to do is have a slow start now. Before, I could definitely see where you'd be like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. You know, it's worth it to just stick in. We got plenty of time. But as that precious resource begins to deplete, the stress, the pressure of the situation comes in, you're like, okay, well, where is the map say the hot drop's going to be, where all the good items are going to spawn? Or where do people like to land the most to try and rotate? There's a lot of questions you have to ask. And as you brought up, Anna, probably one of the hardest parts of the kill race is just you don't know what the enemy players are going to want. You don't know if somebody else is having their birthday and he's like, I had all my friends over for some drinks and some Apex, and oh, we're up against pros in a kill race. Okay, well, let's see if we can stay alive or something like that. You know, anything can happen.
Don't get worse health than
I
me.
invited them to my birthday party first.
Push again.
Exactly. You guys bring some shields at least for me. Maybe a golden gun. You gotta let me have all the care package weapons. Okay, it's my birthday. Those are the rules.
Bring your own ammo party.
Those are the worst. Sometimes you just want to show up and not have to think. Oh, Rogue getting lit up a little bit on the disengage from there. Needs to take a second for the shields. Speaking of seconds, every one counts in this type of situation. So we are watching Rogue try to go up and get his shield, try to get a little bit of heals coming off, but PVPK gets knocked during that. So kind of has to turn around. Has the shields up, but I mean, we look at that health bar, very low. So one tough fight, one magazine that manages to connect with him could lead to disaster, but comes out with that EVA 8. Great pops on the shoddy. And this is what you love to see. Just getting it done in a clutch situation.
Wow.
Triple kill, team wipe. And he's got 5% of his health. Well done.
I was going to say, is 4 kills enough at this point? And then he was like, no, never mind, it'll be 7.
Nice. And still 17 squads remaining. So if you've got 3 or 4 on each of your other teammates, then you're like, okay, if we can take out half the players left and win, we're going to be in a great spot. If you get more than half, amazing.
Why am I panicking?
That's where you start to get real nervous. We have one of these rounds starting. The enemy player did not have a weapon, unfortunately. Unfortunately for BlissKai, all she had was the Mozambique at the start of that fight, which is notorious for being the butt of all weapon-related jokes in Apex Legends, although it is a lot better than it used to be.
No.
Playing around the door here, intense situation, as I think that team might have been cleaned up by somebody else. So that's the other hard part, of course. If you get third party, you're not even worried about your safety. You're worried about the safety of your enemies, because you don't want them to die to anyone except you.
I'm a liar.
Oh no, you can't get in. I'm breaking doors.
Thank you.
Oh, you still can't.
Oh, he's coming in the door.
And they're trying to get the res up on the teammate. Dropped. Stays on his feet, though. Gets that nice kill leader banner. and will be able to get the reses up for the teammates. Still here's actually really good awareness. Sees that enemy player coming in close. Of course, with the Seer, you have a little bit of a heads up with that passive, with that Q, and the ult can kind of see where the enemy players are around you, which can also be a really big valuable part. It was very strong on release a couple weeks back, but I can definitely see where the value in that that player location skill can be for him to help rack up those kills.
We are watching Team Dropped, who we've seen get quite a few wins, taking advantage of those 4 bonus points. However, scoring, I believe, in the like 24-23 range, not enough to keep them solidly in the top 2 teams. So they're definitely still looking for at least one high-scoring round before our time is up.
Yeah, and it's not like those are, in any normal sense of the word, bad results. Getting 17 kills in a win is... I mean, if I did that, I'd be jumping for joy. If I did that once, I would be like, okay, I'm recording this VOD. I'm putting this up everywhere. Everybody needs to see this. Oh my goodness, we had a game where we almost had 20 kills.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. But then you're in a competition like this, and it's like, man, everybody is feeling the same exact thing as you. And that you find out, like, I don't know, you know, you're streaming, of course, and someone in chat comes in, they're like, yo, Nokokopuffs team has 34 points as their best. And you're like, well, what do we do about it? I thought we were already doing great. What more are we trying to do? And that's where it can boil down, of course, when you're talking about, do we have enough mobility in our kit, right? And I think that's definitely maybe a question worth asking with the composition we're seeing here. I mean, Lifeline is just great utility and support, not really useful for finding other players. Seer can find other players, but not super mobile. And Bloodhound also fills a little bit of that role too. So, when I look at that, and I think to myself, well, maybe if you had an Octane in there so you could just get around faster, or a Valkyrie for redeploy. But they feel confident with their setup. They're going to get a couple more knocks, and we're looking at Dropped, who's at 7 kills so far with 20 players left in the game. Gets another knock and a few more frags. So they're doing well, but the most stressful part is going to be that victory screen, which is a very weird thing to say. But if you don't have enough kills when that screen pops up, you're like, I wish I died earlier in this round.
Right. It was all for nothing. I wish it had gone faster.
I don't even have anyone to play Apex with. But I got invited to play.
Good comms coming out. There's 2 teams here, which is something you'd normally be afraid of. But in this scenario, you are excited to hear that. Karagii a little bit behind the team, though.
This team was solidly in the lead when we checked in on the standings. So probably feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah, they've gotten so much done, and you can just see, just being able to move around safely, being able to help reposition your teammates has been a really good composition for them. 2 mobility focused legends, and then Karagii on Bloodhound. She's able to say, okay, look, we have tracks here. Someone was here, maybe 30 seconds ago. Even though we don't hear them, even though we don't see them, if we head in this direction, we will probably find somebody. So you have that mix between the utility and the mobility. You're not as focused on stuff like healing or res, although it can be really nice. But if you want to take Lifeline for that heal for those care packages, that's great. But she's not going to help you find people to kill or help you get to them fast.
Oh, please help me.
And in an environment where time is of the essence,
We gotta kill this guy.
would you assume that this team is thinking, healing, resurrecting, not worth the time?
No, another team. I got stuck.
It does depend. Like I think you have to try to kill the enemy team before you go to the res, because anybody that's really paying attention in Apex, that healing sound is very well known. As soon as you start to hear that through the door, it's like that's it. You just immediately smash through, try to kill them. And I think that's where the clutch situations come from. We've got Nokokopuffs, both teammates knocked. He has the shotgun, not a tremendous amount. I think he's just got 8 shells for his EVA 8. So if he doesn't kill everybody with that, he'll be in a lot of trouble. But has the L-Star on the other side. I think that's he used through his jump pad to help a boop knock over to him. So these are just some 300 IQ plays being made. But for Nokokopuffs, it's just another Thursday.
No breakfast cereal, only kills.
It gets both teammates res too. not only does he clutch it and wipe the enemy team, he's able to save his teammates in the process with minimal losses. So really just a testament to the awareness, but also the skill on this side as we look at Rogue, and he gets the res with the teammate, but the airstrike comes in. The defensive bombardment. So look at that. They're just leaving the lobby. They're like, okay, look, this game has clearly started off as a dumpster fire. We'd much prefer to just give ourselves a chance to start strong and win the next one and hopefully get enough points for it to put us in a better position.
Back with BadGalShay. On team Zachmazer.
Yeah, trying to make the call outs. She doesn't have a tremendous amount of ammo, has some decent firepower between the Hemlock and R301, but as soon as she comes up, the bullets start flying towards you. So you're trying to make the call out. You're like, okay, well, the bullets are coming from this direction, but your teammate's knocked, and you don't really have the opportunity to go for the res there. So you're just kind of hoping that Zachmazer's going to be able to set it up for you. And, you know, we were talking about with the standings earlier, Team Zachmazer, they are the ones that have been struggling to find those big 20+ point wins, and or perhaps the wins at all. So the stress and the pressure definitely has to be felt here, because you really can't risk getting caught with a low score game if you can't get that big win, or if the time runs out while you're in the middle of a match. That's going to be something you have to worry about too.
God damn it, bro. Why do
Right.
I suck?
We should be creeping up on, we had only 90 minutes for this kill race, so the majority of that has passed. These teams have got to be getting pretty nervous if they don't feel good about those solid foundations of points that they have built so far.
Oh yeah, no, this is where the stress just goes through the roof. I mean, we're seeing Zachmazer. He's saying he had a weapon he really liked. It's like, okay, don't have any ammo, so finds the L-Star. Not a bad one to have. Still has the shotgun behind it, but he's got 40 rounds and not really great resources to try and. Well, he has to save both of his teammates and revive them and kill whoever's here.
I know you're scared.
And with the number of kills that he has already, 6 with 26 players to go, if the teammates have kills, they might be saying, we can't pull out of this game because this might be the only chance that we have of having a ton of kills and winning. So we just need you to put the team on your back and carry us to where we want to be. But that's a lot to ask of anybody, even Zachmazer.
Put on the cape, become the hero we need.
Exactly. Well, he's going to go jump up behind the opposing Seer, pops him with the Eva 8, but one of the teammates, Respawn, has timed out. So even if he gets over to where their bodies were, they will not be able to be revived. So the only way in this round is he's going to have to kill everybody that's left in this game by himself. I feel like I don't actually need to explain how difficult that actually is. It's a huge pain in the butt.
But if he manages to do it, what an amazing story, right?
I think I would lose my mind. That would be absolutely wild. I don't know how many kills the teammates have, but he's at 8. And since his teammates are both gone, the 17 players left, there's 16 on the table for him. But to do it all by yourself, that's a Herculean effort,
that's a real one?
to say the least. Is it the Mirage? Is it the fake, or is it the real one?
Batteries just would be so
just another thing to add in there to make your day even more difficult.
I'm breathless with anticipation. I'm rooting for Zach.
What's he gonna do? Oh, so someone's at the door. Pokes open, comes in, steps down. You talk about this is why that EVA is so good, by the way. He doesn't even have any attachments for it, but just being able to fire 8 shotgun shells into your opponent without having to reload just kind of gives you the opportunity to get it done. It's like, okay, I don't need to land all of these, but if I can get a few center mass, I'm gonna get it done. And the fact that he steps out, goes back in with 1 more kill than when he left. Not bad at all.
That player was not invited to his birthday party. Neither was this one. Can't come in.
This is not the abode that you want to try to break into. You're one of the enemy players. They're trying to flank from the side. They get him.
God, this game is so hard. My biggest problem in this game is ammo, man. It's like my biggest problem, I can't fucking.
Wait, we had 24 kills or 24.
It is a hard game indeed. I love Apex. I love playing Apex, but man, this game is absolutely brutal sometimes. as we
Zach was saying
lost
the
the
hardest
pick
part
now. It was
was ammo.
They're
Can
probably
you talk a little bit about ammo and why he might have been so frustrated with that?
I didn't even think it's
Yeah,
worth it.
we have. I think in Apex it can be really tricky because there are some tools that are really good for getting resources. Like you could have a Loba on your team, and all she really does is just brings items to the squad. She can see the rare items that are inside of like the chests and stuff without having to open them. Her ultimate will let you pull stuff from far away, but she's not really good at finding people. She's not really good at engaging and killing people, so you don't have that with you. So it's like, okay, since you're constantly on the run, since you're constantly trying to take these fights, you're spending every bullet that you have so quickly, and none of your characters are going to be, you know, leaning towards resource collection. So I think that's just a tough part to take. But look at this, BlissKai team, first place, 25 kills with the squad. Nice.
That's going to be a total of 29 points, getting close to that 30 mark again.
For no reason
I believe that team already had a 34 and a 28, so that 29 will give them one more point.
Yeah, that's very, very nice to get. It might have been team dropped, which would be huge for them because they were definitely on the lower end. I think they had a 22 and 23 at our last checkup. You know, it's a lot of action even for us to follow. So if I miss a step, please forgive me. Apex is a very quick and obviously hectic game.
I think you're right. I think that was that team dropped. I was looking at a different one. They did have 23 and 22, so that will be a big increase in points for them.
Nice. Keeping them competitive, keeping them in it. Rogue, unfortunately, they're going to get popped on this one. I think it's we have just Emmyuh trying to clutch it out, but PVPX is knocked. Rogue is dead, so she's not unfortunately going to be able to get it done as the squad gets eliminated. And they're talking. They're starting to ask about time, and because that's now going to become the most limiting factor, I think, as we approach the end of the first round of the kill count.
Yeah, they have just over 20 minutes left, so it starts to become very important that they are playing their best few last games or game that they possibly can.
Land outskirts and then play in.
Yeah, those late game circles. It's really fun because we're jumping between a bunch of different games and we're seeing everybody, you know, really try to hunt down all the other players and get that kill count up as fast as it can possibly be. But you know, then you try to realize that's like, okay, well, any one single game can actually go for fairly long. You can definitely get over that 20-minute mark and realize that you won't have time for another game if you finish one that you're starting now. So, you know, for Team Nokokopuffs, I honestly don't worry about it too much. Their score is fantastic. If they can repeat this in the second half of today's competition, I definitely like their spot. Some teams have gotten a little bit close, but I still don't think we've had... Or at least I'm not aware that we've had any of the other squads able to get over the 30-point mark.
We are hard cutting.
Getting close though.
20 minutes in the
Yeah,
first
I think
half.
that 29 we just saw from Team Dropped was the closest so far. The only one right now that we've seen above 30 is that 34 from Team Nokokopuffs.
You're getting sent on.
Also, important to note that the matches that count for points must finish by 20 minutes from now. So they can't even start a game and count the kills that they got in that game. It must be a completed match.
Yeah, so running out of time.
Okay.
That's it. It's 20 minutes to go. So if you're in this game, you want to try to, you know, obviously take as much away with you as you can. But someone, as you know, if it's the shot caller, great. If it's somebody else, that's fine too. But somebody has to have that watch on their wrist that they're checking. They're like, okay, look, if we restart, we're gonna need to actually kill everybody in much faster time than we would normally have to. So that just becomes a whole nother very difficult part to manage, because I think at this point you just have to stay invested in it, maybe hope that some reses happen. Look, they're stalking. That's the revive dropship coming in. So Team Nokokopuffs, they're anticipating this. They wanted the player to get away by themselves and be alive, specifically so that they could revive their friends and they could farm them like cattle.
There's 2 on the building.
You know, never waste your resources. That's the moral of the story here.
Yeah, whatever it takes. You know, it's one of those things that always ends up popping up when like there's any sort of like battle royale kill race or anything. You know, especially Apex, because you have that big sound. It's almost like ringing a dinner bell. when you go for the revive, as everybody sees that ship come in, they're like, oh, yes, there are potentially 3 players that do not have good weapons because they just got revived. And you surprise, surprise, when you get rezzed in Apex from the dropship, you don't spawn with your old stuff. So you come out barehanded and, well, generally easy to kill.
Someone standing on the farmhouse porch with a triangle. Ding, 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 dinner.
Technically.
Terrifying feeling when you come in and you see you're like in the dropship. It starts to open. You jump out and you just see that there's like 2 or 3 different teams collapsing on you, and you're like, "Bro, they're coming!" It's like, which direction? All of them.
Seems like it's going.
We go back over to Team Nokokopuffs. Only 1 kill on our main man over here in this round. I don't think they're sweating it as much. They've really been doing a phenomenal job so far score-wise, and based on what else we've been seeing, the last update that we got, yeah, they definitely are still in the lead. So they've got to be feeling good. If they can replicate this performance, even like 90% of it, they're going to be looking very strong headed into day 2 potentially.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame them for taking it a bit easy in this last game, knowing the scores that they've already put up. Want to save a little bit of energy for the next half. They've got a whole other hour and a half to go.
Yeah, and I'll also give my chaotic evil take on this as well, which is that you load into the game and you see one of the other teams, like if you're Team Nokokopuffs, if you see in the kill feed a name from one of the other teams that are competing, you're like, guys, I don't actually care if we get kills in this one. You know, we're ahead. All we have to do is wait for when we eventually fight them and don't let them win. And then there's probably no way that without the 4 points they're gonna beat us. So, you know, you can really start to try and get in the heads of everybody else. And they're like, yeah, let's play safe. Let's make sure that if we get picked off, they could win. So we don't want to let that happen.
There should be a team up top too.
2 grenades.
I got backpack fault. We got a farm.
5, 6.
Sounds like Nokokopuffs is looking for that that farming you were mentioning.
Oh yeah, I think that's why they're hanging around such a central location. He was talking about his backpack, golden backpack. When you res a teammate, they get a little bit more of their shields and health back. They don't come back on the brink of death. They're like somewhat damaged, which can again be useful for a competition like this because it's all about the time. If you're gonna get that res, the last thing that you want to do is have to wait for the person that you pick up to have to do a full heal or something like that, because it really is just all about the time, the race against the clock. And they're talking about how they need to farm. I'm like, okay, are you guys actually going to beat the 34-point skill?
Right.
Well, they could just repeat it and override the 28-point game that they had, but even that is a real struggle.
I am going to be surprised if we see many scores that are going to be higher than that 34. That is a pretty impressive score.
Just keep your knockdown up. I'm coming up.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a single other point total over 30 at this point.
No, I've been able to have the pleasure to do a decent amount of Apex commentary and see some events, and even in like a complete like actual professional team kill race, I think like the crazy high number has gotten was like 40 or something like that. So if you're pushing 30 or above, you're doing way well. And I don't think you can have any complaints. If somebody beats you and you're getting over 30 points, then at that you just gotta tip the hat to them, because that's not easy at all.
Oh, they jump like maniacs.
Zachmazer sitting on 9 kills. This team was the one that we had seen hadn't put up scores yet last time we checked in. So they're probably feeling the heat as they try to put up a really good score before the time runs out and then look toward that second half.
Yeah, do get a couple great picks. You know, they disengaged from this fight, dropped down, and Zachmazer was saying, he's like, oh, one of them actually came down. They were foolish enough to walk into the spider web, and they were able to get a couple more kills there. Nate on their team has the respawn banner timed out. So there's 3 squads left. They have 2 teams to try and kill here. He's got eyes on one of them, but it's just 2 of them on the team. It's just him and BadGalShay. So they need to do it on their own. 2v3v3. BadGalShay gets knocked. He gets the knock despite a little bit of that recoil coming in off the bombardment. And, you know, this is why people say Apex is crazy, by the way. You got rockets falling out of the sky, laser beams going across the map while you're throwing grenades, and your teammates are getting knocked. So there's just so much to try and manage. Comes over, is going to get 100, looks like 150 damage on him. Finishes with the shoddy. Beautiful pick. And please do not snipe me while I loot this other team because I have no resources.
YouTube, you got this.
This would be both of our best games if I clutch this.
Oh,
Does this guy have an
I don't know if you're supposed to say that. That just, I feel like that jinxes you almost. You gotta be real careful talking about this is it. But this is, I mean, I guess based on the time, they I don't know if they're going to be able to get through another full game with this many frags if they're not able to do it here. So this is a very, very important match for them. Look at that, 14 frags just on Zachmazer, and he's got eyes on him. Okay, he's spotted. Could just be a solo player, right? Their teammates might have died too.
Yeah, and we've seen Zachmazer in this position before, where he's the one left. It looks like it went pretty well for him this time. I'm excited to see this point total.
Yeah, very, very high kill count on Zachmazer. I think that's 15 just for him alone. So at this point, you're like, did my teammates add up to 5 kills, right? Are we going to get over 20 and get that 25, 30, a little bit closer to that? Let's see. Beautiful victory screen and 18 squad kills, first place. So a 22-point game, which is a little bit below the average of what we're seeing right now. Definitely not on the top, but potentially enough to keep them competitive here.
Yeah, I think a score like that, what it does is it at least says, okay, it's worth us really rallying and trying to get some amazing scores in the second half, because we're not out of the action yet. As long as we've got something like a 22 to sit on, there's still a chance.
I need to grab a 2.
Yeah, and I think it showed at that end screen that BadGalShay might have been out of the lobby before the victory screen showed. So I don't know if she had any kills. It did not show them on that. So we'll keep you all posted, and of course we'll have the accurate numbers on the scoreboard whenever we're ready to bring that out.
Yeah, I know that the other score that Zachmazer's team had submitted is a 23. So that 22 is close to what they had submitted as well.
If they're calling it in, or if we kill from
Well,
them.
it's definitely a nice improvement from the last time that we checked up on. They were still looking for a dub. They were still looking for a 20-point game. I think for anybody competing, especially with if you've seen previous tournaments, the kind of scores that people win with. If you don't have at least 20, it's not going to be something that you're trying to put up out there to show off, because those 30-point games are the ones that are going to end up deciding it.
Yeah, do it.
We are over on Rogue's team looking at PVPX, and he's got the Kraber, which is a great sniper rifle. Yeah, you hit somebody in the head, you're going to knock them. But does it take a little bit of time to do that? Yes.
Just tell her to go back.
So, I mean, he's also going to take some time to go for the res here. There's 3 squads left. Of course, with the clock, we've got about 10 minutes, a little over that. So, there's no reason to quit at this point. He's only 2 more teams to go. Get the respawn, gear up, and try to go in and close this one out.
No, that team ran to the...
Rogue's team had submitted scores of 27 and 23 last we checked in, for a total of 50, which at that point put them in 3rd place, because Dropped had submitted a total of 52.
Take the jump pad.
Ooh. Tries to push the door, does Rogue, and he gets knocked. Definitely tough spot to be in. I think just barely does get booped out, though. This is another reason why I love Octane. Not only do you get to reposition, but he really has some great utility for saving teammates out of a bad spot. But that Kraber not going to be useful up close, and PVPX drops back. They are inside of the Seer ultimate. The micro drone detected means that Seer can see them inside of the ult. There is a little a point that can be shot at to destroy it, but good Seer players are going to hide it. So it just makes it a little bit more complicated. You're trying to attack an entrenched team. This is what we were talking about earlier, actually. They're just in a really good defensive spot, and poor Rogue, he's going to get picked. Now it's just up to PVPX with the sniper to try and clutch this 1v3v3.
All 3 of them, man.
Yeah, but the Seer's the one fucking I hate.
Same situation we just saw Zachmazer in as well.
You gotta make them not kill.
Hoping for that hero moment here.
Okay, gets the knock with the Kraber. Has the flatline to follow up. Thirsts the kill. Talking about that, you want to make sure you get those points. The last thing that you want to have happen is go for somebody else, then you die, and that player gets res, and you're never able to even get that one more extra point off. But did grab the beacon for Rogue, so he's thinking about the possibility of getting a res. I think based on what we're seeing, there is a chance. Yeah, there's still plenty of space left. Because it's a kill race, way more of the map is available than normally would be with 3 teams remaining. like in a professional game, sometimes you'll end up in, you know, a lot of teams won't really engage until that final circle where well, the whole circle actually disappears and everybody dies if you don't fight. So that's a very good motivator to fight. But in this competition, there's a lot more space available than usual.
This is our last game, so we just need to make sure this is big.
That's right.
We can res farm this last team more than once, I think.
Yep. I have 8 kills right now. Do you guys know how many you have?
I want to say I have close to 7 or 8 or 9. Just take the one team left. That's fine.
I'm gonna check this. Great.
He says 8.
No.
I'm resing out of bounds.
Teammate
first,
says
and
7 or
we can
8.
respawn up top later.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Decides to go to the other respawn beacon here.
I'll give you a little present.
Yeah, but it's gonna be no ammo.
Bullets.
That's fine. Okay. 11? 7?
7. Not
That'll
bad.
do. Yeah, we gotta leave that one res for them. And if you find a Moby, just randomly call it in.
Yeah.
Alright, bros.
I like Apex, but I wish they would make.
Oh,
like,
we
a
come over to
solo
look. We come over and look at. We've got
rank.
Knoqd without either teammate, no ability to respawn them,
So
and
you only
7
play
other
against
squads left
solo players.
with 8 minutes to go. I think this definitely can be described as a worst possible case scenario situation for this team.
This team, though, is Team Nokokopuffs, who, as we mentioned, already has a really solid score. So probably a little less stressed by the situation than some of the other teams.
Good point. I guess at this point it's also like, you know what? Maybe I'll just go for my do a little Spider-Man training with my Pathfinder. Just swing around, chill out.
There's 3. I see the last guy. Killed the one. Okay, we gotta full kill that guy. 145 on the option.
Down below.
Rogue, who has just been respawned, if I remember correctly.
Call it in.
Yeah, well, respawned, and then he said he left the Kraber for him with just 5 shots, but he only, or I guess maybe a little bit more than that, but he only had a handful of rounds left with it, and has managed to place those handful of rounds directly into the face of the enemy. So actually really well done.
Wow.
He closed it out. They get the kill, so he had 9 towards the end of that one. And these post-game stats are going to be very important for this team. Because they definitely out of time for starting any new matches. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, they've got to gain at least 2 or 3 points over their current total if the scores are the same as they were when we last saw them. They were in 3rd place.
We still got more points than our other game.
Ooh, 21 with
That's
the 4. That's a 25.
Not bad.
And that's going to add... It's going to add
Wait, did he
3...
have 4 kills?
No, wait.
I just blanked out.
It's going to add 2 points for them. So that is going to be a 52, which will be the same score that we last saw for Team Dropped. They may have increased since then.
And we're going to be getting the updated scoreboard available for y'all very soon. But even just a couple of points there, we can see how much some of these teams were struggling to try and get over that 25 mark. And, well, this is definitely interested to see what kind of strategical changes we have going into the second kill race down the line, because this was definitely really tough for everybody. It seems, except Team Nokokopuffs. They've definitely been the team that was the most smooth sailing off of the big frag counts.
I really liked watching the end game kind of desperation. We saw a lot of those like 1 player left situations where everything is on them, which was really fun to watch. Probably not as fun for them, but really fun for us to watch.
I think that's like the joy of it. It's like, well, you know, it's great to have a competition. It's even more awesome to have a really cool prize. You know, I'm sure everybody involved would love to go be a part of putting together a $15,000 custom modded PC. But obviously, what's also more fun is to show everybody what happens when you get down to the wire and you're behind. You're playing from behind. You're like, well, how do we throw the deep ball? How do we make a play? How do we create an opportunity for ourselves? And that madness has brought us to the end of our first half today for the kill race.
That's right. It is over. First half is done. Let's take a look at the scoreboard right now. I'm really excited to see what has changed since we saw it last here in the Intel Creator Challenge. Nothing has changed for Nokokopuffs' top score. That 34 is still the highest score on the board, 28 being their second. That gives them a total score of 62, which is dominant here. Team Rogue, we just mentioned, had gotten to that 52-point mark, but they're going to be beat out by Team Dropped, who raised their score to 56.
Wow.
Zachmazer, unfortunately, coming in the fourth place with 45 points, although that is a significant improvement. Last time we hadn't seen any submitted scores from them, so that at least still keeps them in the action, Nathanius.
Yeah, indubitably so. And hey, 23-22, you look at it, you're like, okay, it's 45, the gap to 62, right? But if you're talking about getting to the day two, being the top two teams, something that realistically, getting your score up by 10 points puts you right within striking distance of Dropped. So if Zachmazer's team ends up switching places with them in the second half, and it's them who's got the 29-27, and Dropped goes just a little bit lower than that, 22-23, everything is still possible on the table for Nokokopuffs. They're definitely going to be feeling good going into the second half. I don't think they need to get 30 plus, but all they have to do is be about the same or a little bit better, maybe even just barely worse than whoever's in second right now going into that half. So they've got to be feeling fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the moods of the teams as they go into the next half. Will they stay determined? Will they be beat down? Will they be complacent from having such a high score? I don't know. I'm really excited to watch. We're going to take a quick break right now. So go grab your snacks, get your Cinnamon Toast Crunch in honor of Nokokopuffs. Do whatever you need to do. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes with our second half, so stay tuned.
Performing in motion capture is completely different than working like in film or TV. You have only your imagination to rely on. You don't get makeup, you don't get costumes, so you really have to delve into your pure imagination to create the world that you want to create. But it's completely different than working in film and TV, but it's still acting. My name is Richard Dorton. I'm known as the Mocap Man. I usually tell people if you played a video game, you've probably killed me. I'm a motion capture actor and performer, producer and director. I started doing theater in DC. I did get a scholarship and I studied a little bit abroad at Balliol College in England. And then I also started studying stage combat. I was going down the route of being a stuntman. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue my stunt career, so I decided I needed to go to California. My first audition, I'd just gotten a stunt agent I thought was going to be at this famous motion capture place called House of Moves, where they had just done stunts for Titanic. My first taste into what I thought was going to be a stunt world actually was for an audition for a video game. It was for Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. In the audition, you had to walk like Shaggy, act like a gorilla, be Frankenstein, you had to dance, you had to fall down, you had to run into a wall. I ended up booking the game and playing Shaggy and 60 other villains in the game. And that kind of just started my mocap career. Hey! I have here some of the games that I've worked on, and there's some of my, prized possessions. Like right here is Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2. And in the final sequence of that, you get to play Darth Vader. So I was one of the first people to ever motion capture Darth Vader in a video game. I've played Wolverine and X-Men Legends, Silent Hill Homecoming. I got to play Pyramid Head and all the creatures in that. I also worked on the God of War series. But this has got to be one of my most prized possessions. This is from Left 4 Dead 2. I play all the boss zombies and all the hero characters in that. And I had all the artists sign this game after the game came out. So this is something I'm really, really proud of. Recently, one of the biggest projects I've been working on is Rogue Company with Hi-Res Studios. I started out being an actor, creating some of the characters like Dima. It's really funny to see him juggling grenades and then throwing them because I helped create that move. It's one of my favorite moments in the game. I also have expanded into the company and I now work on some of their character reveals. I help cast actors, I help create the emotes, the dance emotes, fidgets, idols, all the Rogue reveals that you see. I get to work on that. So it's been an incredible journey going from a performer with them to also helping them direct and put the game together. We're here at Fonco Studios, home to a variety of other production companies. But also home here is the Knoqd Motion Capture Studio. We're gonna go inside, I'm gonna put on the perception neuron suit, and we're gonna give you a demo. Funko is known for working with some incredible artists who work on top major AAA title video games, major motion pictures. They're known for their miniatures, they're known for their special effects, and they're also known for their motion capture. We're here now at the Knoqd motion capture stage. Now this is where all the magic happens. Here we go. I'm here in the performance space where James is going to put me in the perception neuron motion capture suit. We're going to take that motion capture data from Access Studio, move it over to the Unreal Engine, where we're going to create a scene of a rampaging monster versus a robot.
Left hand. Good. Left hand. So these straps will hold the sensors around the body. And the sensors have gyroscopes, magnetometer, and accelerometer to track capture his motion data.
My name is Rock Nakajima. I'm the president of Knoqd International. Motion capture until a few years ago was a very, very elitist technology, costing like hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars.
Newer technology has come along with inertial suits. All of the technology is in the suit itself. With the perception neuron suit that I was wearing, the markers are now sensors. I can now shoot anywhere, inside, outside, as long as I'm connected to the laptop.
Now you don't need any cameras. And therefore now you have a completely portable system. You're not locked into a location. You could go out in the field, you could go out on the mountain, you could go wherever you want with your laptop and start capturing. And you can do that literally in a few minutes. So you just put on the suit, you do a 2-step calibration, which literally takes 10 seconds, and now you're capturing data.
So we have the Perception Neuron Studio sensors that he's wearing. It's going to be going into the Access Studio software, and then we're going to push that into Unreal to drive the Rampage character and the Crunch robot character to set up a monster fight.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna focus on the two characters that I have to bring to life. Even though they're both giant characters, one's more organic, one's more robotic. So we wanna make sure that I have different movements for each one. Like for the Rampage character, he's more of a monster, he's more of a kaiju. He's very physical, he's just really wild. We're gonna go with that, the name of Rampage, and we're just gonna let him riff and just, go crazy. Then let's go over to Crunch. He's now gonna take care of this monster. I size him up. Oh, I know what to do with this. Get the weapons ready. Fire.
Right, so I took your two performances and I put one of your animations on the monster, and then I put your other animation on the robot, adjusted them in space, tightened up the timing a little bit, and so now we can see your two characters fight.
What's incredible about this too is it just shows that one person, with this kind of suit can do their own kind of motion capture. We weren't limited to a studio. This is a great space to work in, but if I only had space in my bedroom, I could do this in my bedroom. Traditionally, I'm a Mac guy, but during the pandemic, things had to change and I needed to work from home. A lot of this technology runs on PC. I wanted to work in a new way, so the MSI GE76 gave me the chance to do that. It's portable and I can take it anywhere. I don't use it just for work too. I can use it in my personal life, I can use it for email, I can watch videos on it, I can watch YouTube, and I do my research, so it comes in really, really handy as a personal computer as well as a professional laptop. To me, motion capture is pure imagination. That's what I get to do. I get to use my imagination, I get to use my creativity, and I've been very, very fortunate in this world. Being a half Asian man, I was judged purely on my talent. It didn't matter what I looked like, it didn't matter my size. I was purely booking work on my talent. And that makes me feel really, really proud of myself and what I've done. It's been an incredible journey for me to say that I have made a motion capture career in 20 years and have worked on some of the top games, in pop culture. It's a great honor.
I'm exhausted tonight 'cause I can't sleep. No, I can't
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Intel Creator Challenge. I'm Anna Prosser here with Nathanius. How you doing, friend?
Fantastic. I'm feeling good. You know, I love Apex Legends. I love getting to watch high quality gameplay. Everybody out here has been bringing their best, and it's been a very entertaining day. I mean, the time's kind of flown by. I felt like that was 30 minutes, but it was 90, and we got through like probably 20 games of Apex.
Yeah, there's nothing like just sitting and chatting about games, watching people who are really good at them play them. And that's what we're here to do again for our second half. Let's take a look at what we're doing here for the Intel Creator Challenge. This is week 3. We are in a challenge phase. That means that our players are fighting to decide which 2 teams will advance from today into tomorrow. We'll be playing not Apex Legends as we are today, but Overcooked 2 and Pummel Party. And then after that, we will find out who will advance to the build phase in week 5, which will be when our teams get to, or our advancing players get to team up with some modders to build a $15,000 custom modded PC. So that is what's on the line today, Nathanius.
Yeah, and just, I mean, you're obviously with that much. I mean, you don't even need half that to get some of the best CPU that you could have, to get a high-end graphics card. But to have all that room for all the bells and whistles, there are just so many options. You want to have all the storage so you can record. You want to record all your 10-hour 4K streams. You can do that with a beastly rig like that. So I think for everybody involved, you know, you're looking at this, and even if you've already got a good setup, you're going to have the God tier setup if you make it to that point.
Mm-hmm. If you're just joining us, we have already done a first half of competition. We're in an Apex Legends kill race. We've got 4 teams battling it out. As you can see, Team Nokokopuffs is in the lead with 62 points. And in the last place right now is Team Zachmazer. So Team Zachmazer and Rogue are both going to be looking to try to increase their score as we go into that second half, because the top 2 teams, which are right now Dropped and Nokokopuffs, are going to be the ones at this point to advance. Nathanius, do you think that Team Rogue and Team Zachmazer have what it takes? Do you think they're within reach?
I think it's got to be possible, right? At the very least to contest for second place, but they're going to need to mix something up a little bit. Maybe a bit of a different composition. You know, Team Nokokopuffs, they're in first place, but I'm going to use them as a bit of an example. They've been relying a lot on heavy mobility legends. We've been seeing a lot of the usage of the Octane jump pad off Nokokopuffs, and I think that he's been able to create a lot of opportunities for his team. So maybe if we can get a little bit of better synergy, a little more mobility in for Team Zachmazer, then we can see them try to contest for that number 2 spot. I'm not sure if anyone's going to catch up to Nokokopuffs though. If they keep this up, we're definitely going to see them tomorrow.
Yeah, they seem calm, cool, and collected as they're doing that. And they're doing the best thing you can do, which is not only getting 1 point for every kill, which they're doing a lot of, but they're also winning a lot of their matches. Because as you can see, you can get 4 extra bonus points if your team takes first, 3 if your team takes second, and 2 points if your team takes third. So we've seen actually a ton of these teams taking advantage of even those 4-point bonuses to get them up above that 20-point mark. A lot of them we're seeing score, you know, in the 18, 19, and then barely being able to get up to those like 23s in the case of Team Zachmazer.
Yeah, and if you're not necessarily as familiar with Apex Legends as other Battle Royale games, there are 60 players in one match. So when you see that 34 points, yeah, you got 4 points for first place. That's great. But 30 points from kills means they took out half of the entire lobby of players that were in there. So it really is quite a challenge to get the score up that high. You have to take out literally half the people that are in the lobby, or a quarter of them, and let them all respawn and do it again. Either way, both very, very, very impressive results.
And it's going to be really interesting to watch these players, because today, like we said, they're facing off in Apex Legends, a little bit more of an intense esports style competition. Tomorrow we'll see them take on the party games, and something that may be a little more random, probably a lot more shouting and laughing between teams. But they're fighting again to see who can advance to that build stage. And I actually want to give a shout out to our previous winners who are already going to the build stage. That's Lancelot Dev 92 and A Prize. And they're going to be paired with modders Liquid House and Blue Horse Studios. So we already know that they're going closer to that $15,000 PC.
That's so awesome. That's so cool. Getting up to that point, being able to do that. And then at that point, I don't have all the details. I don't have all the information, but at some point you're going to try to outswag the other guys and make your build look cooler, I guess, something like that. But
yeah,
man, what an awesome prize to be trying to get up to. And we're going to, as we go through today, that's what is at stake. Of course, for day one, the top 2 teams move on to tomorrow, and then tomorrow it's playing to get up to that sweet build phase. But yeah, I think biggest takeaways off the first half, as we get ready and wait for the second round of games to start, is keeping the mobility, right? I think that some of these teams that have been enjoying the slower characters, trying to use the lifelines and whatnot, you might be you gotta be like, okay, we need to go full W key. We need an Octane. We need someone that can go fast. We need the Wraith so that we can reposition quickly, or do the kidnap maneuver, just grab an enemy player from another team, isolate them very quickly, take them down, and move forward. And if you're not going to do that, we're going to need to see that farming, getting 2 players, letting the third respawn the teams, and using that to get extra kills without having to find other players. But even that is hard because, as we saw before, when they were waiting for some of the revives, other teams come in. They want those kills too. So it's a very, very intense situation, as it's just 90 minutes to make the comeback of a lifetime, perhaps.
Yeah, we've talked about how these teams are coming in with a few pros, a few variety streamers, and how they're going to need to work on communication and strategy, because these aren't teams that play together a ton. So a team like Nokokopuffs team probably not going to need to change much about their strategy, but as we look at the other teams, they have the decision to make between, are we going to keep trying to hone what we have been doing and make it work better, or are we going to completely change our strategy and try something new in an effort to get those points up?
Yeah, that's the big question. We didn't have any of the teams leaving games that looked bad early in the first half. I do wonder if we'll see more of that in the second half. Probably not from Team Nokokopuffs, though, as we were saying, because I think they'll want to stay in every lobby as long as they can, at least towards the later stage, because you want to make sure that if you can deny any of these other guys, if you get into the same game as them, you can really throw a wrench in their plans. But we're here. We're ready to go for the second half. We're looking at Team Rogue, and they're already getting into the action. Like we were saying, there is absolutely no time to waste. You want to constantly be moving, constantly taking these fights, and you at least know where the benchmark is for if you want to win. If you want to somehow overcome this, that's great. You got to aim for 34 points or more, because that's what that's what the competition's been putting up. But off to an explosive start.
I think this
well, actually, Rogue's team was in third place, but only by 4 points after drop. So even if they can't quite get up to the level of Nokokopuffs' team, if they can manage to do a little better, get a few more kills, they could be in range of that second place position. And in that case, they would still get to move on to tomorrow and test their skills in Overcooked and Pummel Party.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to do that. Those are not games that Anna and I, we've been doing esports stuff for a long time. I think we're both at 10 years plus or something at this point, but not often that we get to do the party games. So I am looking forward to that.
Yes,
quite a bit. It really is a testament to the skill and the talent of everybody in these lobbies. These guys, they're rolling. They got their vehicle on Olympus. We get a few of these bad boys to drive around. They do see another team, but it really is a testament to how good everybody is that we're already talking about playing for second place for some of these teams. That it's like, no, there's actually a team that's so good. It's kind of out of reach almost, unless they. I mean, Team Nokokopuffs would really have to blow it in this second half to not make it happen. But we've got PVPX and Team Rogue getting into another fight, so they're using the mobility, and finding that vehicle is really nice for them to be able to just get as close to another team as possible, rack up those kills as fast as you can.
Yeah, it's interesting you were saying that it's so clear we have a team in first place, and at first glance it may seem, the difference between 56 points and 62 points is not that wide. However, when you get down to thinking, okay, that's 6 kills, there is a big difference between those two scores, and being able to shift things at this point might be really difficult.
Yeah, that's 2 whole extra squad wipes on top of the best performance that the second place team had put up, which once you actually get into the game and you're like, oh my god, where are we going to pull 6 extra players to fight out of? The answers, there's not a whole lot of them, and unfortunately things get a bit sloppier for Rogue as they're going to get jumped in that building and taken down. And that is definitely a sour spot to be put in, as we've been talking about. The pressure is there. They do still have plenty of time for now.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to really just shake that one off and try again, because they have so much time left right now, and that doesn't hurt them other than just having used some of their time. So as long as they can get right back on that horse, send out invitations to a new birthday party, give out the party favors, which are kills. The metaphor is getting away from me, but they can do it.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And I think something we'll try to keep our eyes on. So we're looking at this team composition, right? As we get a look over at BlissKai on the Bloodhound. And we were saying we like the Bloodhound. You can see, obviously, on the screen, there's all these little markers everywhere. That's the passive. You can kind of track the enemy players, and you can see how old those blood marks are. So she knows enemy team is still here, trying to clutch it as teammate is knocked and dropped, is actually dead. So she's got no health, no shields, and enemy players nearby. Tough spot. Tough spot to be in. Yeah, those utility picks, I feel, become more and more risky the longer that things go. Team Nokokopuffs does have that lifeline, but with the way that his Octane and the jump pads have been going, I guess they can afford to take that risk since they're in the #1 spot.
We see, two teams backing out of, well, either leaving or not finishing those first few matches. Again, that's fine as long as they can really shift things, get their mood back in the game, and show us some good points. Although Team Cocopuffs, I believe, still in their first match, 17 squads left, but 0 kills so far for our captain, Nokokopuffs.
Yeah, I just climbed up top, saw the enemy team sitting on the roof of this building and trying to reposition, but they're actually coming down. We get a look back over onto the other team. We've got Knoqd now. Looking with that shot to try to pick him off. We can see Nokokopuffs getting in front. There's the caustic trap. So running inside that building could end up making things a bit tricky. We're not going to see anybody using caustic on the streamer side of things, but he is a good defensive legend that can lock down positions and waste your time, which is the most valuable resource the players have right now. So anytime you see those traps, you're like, okay, do we really want to push in this building? Because even if we do kill them, it might take a long time to get through. So it looks like they were able to clear them out, and they're going to keep moving forward. But those are all the different things that you've got to consider. I like the use of Pathfinder 2 on Knoqd, that extra mobility, being able to set up the zip line for the team. It's all about getting from point A to B and killing everybody as fast as you can.
Yeah, I think I heard through the comms Nokokopuff saying, "It's a really hard game, Knoqd." And it is.
It is.
What do you got, 9?
Like I love FPS games, and I know I'm kind of known as a strategy game buff, but when you're playing Apex, it does feel like if you miss, you're never gonna get that lucky shot that just connects. You have to be so on point, and everybody moves so fast with all the different abilities. And you've got the little hallucinated guys that run forward, so you struggle with the Mirage clones, and there's just so many different things you have to constantly keep track of. Which, I mean, to be fair, I think that's why Apex is a pretty popular game. There's a whole lot to do. They constantly be looking for good hits for Knoqd off the EVA 8. I'll be showing love to that shotty all day. He has the level 3 stock on it as well, or the shotgun bolt rather, so he can fire it incredibly quickly too if he needs to.
It looked to me like Knoqd had 8 kills and Karagii has 3. I don't know how many Nokokopuffs has racked up, but those are some good-looking numbers.
Yeah, definitely. They've at some point it's like, man, we've really set a high standard for ourselves where we would be disappointed to just only have 20 kills, right? So that's it's awesome that we're in that situation as we have Nokokopuffs. And you were talking about this earlier, but he just has 2 kills for himself. We've seen him be the big carry. We know that he has the talent. Trying to land some long-range hemlock shots, and as I was saying, this is always the harder part when you're in these kill races, because you're playing in public lobbies. The other players in the game are not all in the tournament. They're just people that are playing Apex Legends, right? So you're kind of stepping into the arena and being like, who can take out the most people in just normal games? But conversely, they're not always going to try to go after you because of that. So you need to be really cautious. If you try to shoot someone from really far away, they might just run. And if you're knocked, you'll just catch them like that and pick them off. Great use of the zip line there. Great play.
Yeah, Knoqd is really shining in this game. Definitely leading the team in kills. Also looking real clean with this play.
And don't go over aggressive.
And just look how fast he gets around. Has great awareness of where he needs to go, how to get there as quickly as possible. Optimizing for movement is really what the kill race is all about. And it finds a player knocked down here. You don't always get the kill credit if you didn't get the knock yourself, but will at the very least find another team through this tunnel as he comes out. He has the EVA 8 ready to go. Trying to get that up close and personal shotgun shell. Uses the grapple to get just a little bit closer. Tap-a-roo. And he's going to pick up another frag.
My goodness. That's 10 kills for Knoqd.
Oh, I need a heal.
We go to Nokokopuffs. He's got that. Shotties for days might be the name. Need to be the name of this team. Got one of the players knocked. Of course, there is the shield, but it's just a level 1, so not able to block too much. And comes up onto. I think that the name of the opponent they took out, an unwrinkled brain, just fresh and ready to learn, and hopefully learning from getting taken out by the pros.
Nice. We're gonna go back.
Random usernames that you run into, sometimes they're just hilarious.
They had
And
mere
they're
seconds before their death to learn.
An asshole.
So well, hopefully he's got a brain wrinkle from that. Maybe learn something there. We'll have to wait and see.
This team has seemed to be really synergistic as well. Every time we see them and hear their comms, it feels like they're calm, they're having fun. And I really feel like that's giving them an advantage.
Ooh,
Yeah, Nokokopuffs, a great leader.
Golden helmet,
I think
so I can res you guys
he's just a name that comes up a lot. You'll see him a lot in competing, and has a really great stream. Just a fun guy to watch play, and he's assembled a crew that has been able to carry the weight of that name as they have been looking so good. We go back over to Rogue. We've got Emmyuh taken out, so they're going to need to get the revive on her. But it looks like they were able to come out on the better side of a pretty big fight. A lot of death boxes over here. Just 2 kills on Rogue, though, so maybe PVPX has a couple of the other ones, or Emmyuh did. They will be able to respawn her quickly. And actually, you know, when you normally think about the risk of being hunted down when you go for the res, another team is going to come over. I was going to say, if no one was coming, you can kind of draw them out by reviving your teammate. So even that is not always as much of a waste of time as it seems like it can be. It's not always that bad if it draws someone over.
Right. Because as we've talked about, just finding someone to kill can become an issue later in these games.
Somebody's calling it a movie. Where is that?
Actually, another great to add on to what you were just saying, we already saw towards the end of the first half of today's matches that there, you have 2 squads remaining, but you're only on like the 3rd or 4th ring, so there's a huge amount of space they could be hiding in, and it's hard to get there. Great use of the grenade, by the way, on PVPX as Rogue comes in with the flank. They're gonna mop them up. Took out all the shields with that frag. Great use of the utility items.
I'm getting the vehicle.
I can't get out.
I can't get out of the building.
Go to where,
Just blocking it with the car.
Go to where we're going. Yeah, this is fine.
Might be a teammate already.
Don't fucking push up like this. We can't just like fucking run up. No, there's nobody.
They're already trying to trade it a little bit more cautiously. And we jump over and we get another look over here towards the east fragment. Getting all the maps involved today. Apex does have some really beautiful maps. This is where I love to land, except I don't walk away with 10 kills. I'm probably the guy that they kill at the very start. You know, that's be like, oh, this Caustic tried to 1v1 me. What a fool. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know how to play this game.
This is Team Zachmazer. So this is our team that's currently in 4th place. Definitely focused now on trying to gain as many points as they can to put themselves back in the race. Do you think they're going to be able to do it?
If I try to think about it, like when we were talking about the gaps in the points, I think 2nd place has to still be on the table for them, right? It ends up being close to about a 6-7 point difference between them and 2nd at the end of it. So can they get 2 matches that are 3 or 4 more points higher than them? Definitely, that has to be possible. But again, you're at this point, you kind of need the mistake to come out on the other side. So Team Zachmazer, they definitely have the most pressure on them. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the team compositions. Valkyrie's ultimate just brings y'all up into the air. You can completely redeploy, but perhaps even more importantly on Zachmazer's part, as the Valkyrie player, when you do this, it also gives you the HUD again, so you can see where enemy players are. And oh man,
We're going.
production is on top of it, getting
Look at
us
them go.
the views we need to see. When you've got this beautiful green sea, look at that. 4 players get marked, so they know there's players right here, people they can go after. There's the caustic trap. Be very careful trying to push this door. They've got a window, no need. Takes out one, knocks another, and we're seeing Zachmazer. He is definitely trying his best to rise to the occasion, getting up into the enemy's faces, using everything they have. Rockets are going to come out, try to push him back off the platform while he climbs, gets the shots from above on the flat line, and does manage to pick off a player, I believe. However, Nate got knocked on the other side, and now as well his other teammate, BadGalShay. So gonna have to not only clutch this, but get the res on both teammates before enemies arrive to shut him down.
Whew, that was a tense one.
And then drop the drone for you
I'm really interested in a team, if Zachmazer's team could pull it off, could get in that second place position. I think that they might have some of those skills that I want to see tomorrow, which I think is so interesting because we're dealing with teams that, for example, Nokokopuffs, we have 2 Apex pros on that team. Zachmazer is also an FPS pro for Cloud9, but BlacKoreaNate and BadGalShay are more focused on being variety streamers. They play a lot of Apex, but there is a difference between that and being someone who focuses completely on Apex. So I'm excited to see the skills that translate from being somebody who plays a lot of different video games most of the time versus somebody who focuses on just one. So in that sense, I'm interested to see how the tables turn tomorrow.
Yeah, that is a really great thing to bring up too, because when you do variety streaming, it's not uncommon to get into awkward situations where you're like, oh, the game's being a little bit buggy, or you try like a party game and you're like, oh, there are some frustrating mechanics here that you gotta be able to play around and whatnot, like RNG and stuff like that, physics, etc. When I'm thinking about Pummel Party, honestly, because I know that is going to be a hot mess, and I'm going to love it 100% of the way. But having the variety folks on your team can give you the edge there, because they'll be a little bit more familiar with that. The competitive players, if they get a little too riled up, that's when you maybe get a bit concerned, because you got to keep that focus up, especially when, again, stuff like RNG starts to come into play, and you just have to got to take what the game gives you.
Yeah, and they're so used to being so skilled in such a high skill ceiling game that sometimes it can be really frustrating to be like, this game is really simple and I'm not doing well at it, and that makes me really mad.
Exactly. Yeah, when they get to Overcooked, it goes from just click on their heads to just do everything I tell you to do this exact second that I tell you, or we lose. And I can oh no, comms are going to be great tomorrow. Very much so. Looking forward to that.
Looks like we're visiting Rogue's team now.
They're gonna be leaving for zone.
A pro for Energy, joined by PVPX, who is a pro for Cloud9, and Emmyuh, who streams mostly Valorant.
We just kill one and then we leave.
But also really carrying some great Apex skills today.
Yeah, and I definitely believe that a decent bit of it translates. In Valorant you have shooting wise, it can feel a little bit more like CSGO at sometimes, but I think the more important thing is you still have to worry about abilities, right? And people kind of using a wide variety of mechanics to engage and disengage and harass and poke. So it's not, I'm not going to say that the games are crazy similar, but I'm going to say that there are enough things. I definitely believe the skills can translate across FPS if you know how to aim properly. Once you get through that, like, warm-up period, where you're like, oh, okay, I haven't played this game before. How does the aiming work? How does it feel? Once you get back into that zone, I mean, there's a reason why when we get FPS competitions going, there are some historic names that have been around for a long time, because those skills do translate from game to game, and we get to see them pay off in spades when you're competing for a $15,000 custom modded PC, at least.
No, I don't.
Just thinking about that makes me like drool gamer drool.
I'm batting.
I've never had a PC like that. It would be so fun.
Yeah, I can't even imagine if someone's like, yeah, what would you put together with it? I'm like, well, the CPU, GPU, I would get like a 3090. You're gonna get 2 of them. I don't know how much.
Just put 10 of them in there. Who cares? You got $15,000.
Get enough RAM to just run your games off of a RAM disk instead of needing to load it from a regular drive. Like, what kind of obscene lengths are we going to here? Rogue lands some
I
great
gotta leave
shots
the
from
Gibby.
afar.
We
We
gotta
see
leave the
with that Bloodhound, he's been
Yeah,
able
I
to kind of
need to
keep
lose
track
something.
of where those enemy players
Keep
are.
building, by the way.
Still might be looking for where that third is. He's going to swap weapons. You were talking about this earlier with the
50
resources,
he red push,
and I
you
think
red
this is a great way to play
back.
to the way that
Almost.
the competition is set up.
Fine.
Instead of looking
I'll
for
send him back.
ammo for his current gun, he just says, "I'll take
I'll
your
send
gun.
him
I'll
back.
take whatever gun the person I
Just trying
last
to get
killed
by.
has, if
Trying
they
to
have
get
ammo
by.
for it." Because I don't have
there's
time to
res.
loot,
I'm
and you
trying
don't
to
want to
just
take
play.
the time to
Don't
loot. You
push
just
up there,
need
Emmy.
to
Don't
get to
push
the
up there,
next
'cause
fight.
He's gonna hold it. We're not even trying to
Yeah,
fight
it's
him.
really interesting. You've mentioned time
actually.
as
I'll
the
go
most
here.
important
Then we're fine.
resource here.
All right.
I see
And that's something that
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
you wouldn't think about from just
Oh
watching
my
this game. You'd be
fucking
thinking about all the
Maybe I
shiny
can go to our
things that you
left.
want to pick up. But in this
Nailed it.
case, minutes are very
we
valuable to
gotta
these
leave.
players.
And run to me, run to me.
Yeah, because you hear a third party, right? You're like, okay,
developing?
2 teams are fighting, we can go in. And 5 seconds can be the difference between getting there after they've wiped the enemy team. And sure, you might be able to kill them and pick up 3 points. But if you get there just in time to be able to steal 1 or 2 of those away, right when they're still in the middle of the battle, and you suddenly go from 3 to 5 kills, well, I think worth mentioning again, if you want to take that second place spot and you're looking at Zach's team, Zachmazer's team, those 2 or 3 kills that I just mentioned across 2 games could be what puts you into that place.
Nice job. That's extra 2 kills and 4. That's fucking.
See a win here
This
with
is a giant game.
from Karagi's view. We'll be interested to see what the point total is because this is the team that's currently in the lead, captained by Nokokopuffs.
are the Apex champions.
We're going to see them
Did well that
score
game.
points
Thanks.
coming in. Very mobile team,
Huge.
having 2 huge mobility
cracked them.
legends
32.
like
That was
Octane and
more.
Pathfinder.
Whoa.
32 kills?
No.
That's a total of 36 points.
Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, I knew that they did well, but I didn't realize Knoqd, Cloud9 Knoqd, had 21 kills,
Yeah.
3,200 damage.
Again?
I mean, this is like, it's like, oh yeah, it was close. They were definitely ahead going into this, but now I'm like, okay, I don't know how they get unseated from first place after a game like that. We're gonna need the most insane scores to come in from
I'm not really sure
Team
where
Rogue and I don't know how you're gonna try and match that. That's an insane result to get.
For context, Knoqd getting 21 kills by himself is more than some teams have managed to do together in this competition.
Stay where you're
So,
at, and I'm gonna help you.
If there was any question of who's dominant
I'm gonna help you.
before, I think that question has been answered now.
Yes, we definitely know who came in ready to go today. And again, it is always funny because obviously there are points. There has to be a winner. There has to be someone that doesn't win. But man, everybody has put up big scoring games, gotten tons of dubs. But to be able to do it in that way, 34 kills, just over half the players in the lobby they took out, and the first place bonus. Just really sets them apart from the pack. Here we have a bit of an awkward situation as, that Octane trying to see if he can find somewhere to maybe use that golden self-res, but you don't want to waste it if you think your teammate can get you. If you use the self-revive in Apex, when you get up, it just turns into like a normal level 3 shield. You can't just revive yourself multiple times with it. So it's not something you want to use unless you need to. And he has shown it to this Bloodhound, so he's not going to let him get away. PVPX will get killed, and Rogue has a whole lot of pressure put on him, but he's 9 kills with 3 squads left, so don't believe we'll see too much of an opportunity for a res if he takes a fight soon.
Yeah, that's quite a few people to leave himself vulnerable to if he was going to try to recover those banners, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest question mark too, because the Bloodhound that took out the teammate is obviously going to consider that he will be coming over to either try to loot maybe that gold res shield, but I think that's something that Rogue needs to keep in mind too. If he gets himself into a dangerous close fight and he barely tries to like trade, it's not going to be enough, because if he fights the Bloodhound, that Bloodhound probably took the gold res shield, so he'll have to keep his eyes on that. It won't be as easy to thirst that player, so he needs to be very deliberate with the movements that he's going to make as he heads up towards where the teammates' banners are. No, changes his mind, comes back down, and again, this is just a really stressful situation. There's not a lot of good moves you can make here.
He also must be thinking about the amount of time that he's going to use for this, because he has 9 kills. I don't know how many his teammates have, but if they don't feel good about their chances of getting more kills in this game, it may be one of those points where it's like, okay, time to jump out, try again.
Does get eyes on one of the enemy players. Going to use the Bloodhound scan. Sees, okay, there's a player on the right side. So actually catches the flanker. Not a bad grab at all. Is going to slide in. The other 2 players are here. Does get a knock onto one of them. And, oh, it's just you. They know it's just you. You've got the golden shield, but unless that other team that was there comes in, it's not enough. He's going to get executed. Oh, on stream, too. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm here.
You hate to see it.
It looked like I saw a total of 21 points for that team, so still quite a few, even in that situation, but not enough to really move them up the leaderboard, I don't think.
Yeah, they're not satisfied with those numbers. They're definitely impressive, I think, for us and for people watching, but they know that they need to get a lot more if they want to take it all. They want to put themselves in the best possible position to make it to the build phase. Then they are going to need to be able to get a little bit more than that. Nice fight going on over here by Lava Bridge on east side of Fragment. This is such a fun place to land and fight. There's just so many buildings, but also cliffs with lava. So you need to pay attention to where you're going and not just fall in. And a lot of exposed terrain. And as we can see, some traps too. So this is where that time question comes into play. Do you want to play around the traps? Do you want to try and just disarm them? Or, well, once they go off, all you can do is wait. So not a fun spot to be in either.
One on the 3rd floor. It's another team. Yeah.
Little fun reminder, this is BlissKai that we're watching, and it is her birthday. So if you go visit her stream, be sure to drop a little happy B-Day in there.
For sure. Share some love. Comes over. She gets a nice spray in with that R99. The caustic gas, it does last for a really long time. Running through that's going to slow you down. You're going to take damage over time and also be exposed to the enemy caustic. You can see players that run through that gas, so you can give up your position very easily. But really good movement. Comes back down, not only gets the res and saves the teammate, but picks off the other player. Now dropped while that's happening. He's going to get into a duel outside with that rampage, and just a beautiful sidestep in back and forth. Not able to get a lock on him was the enemy player. He's able to clutch it while the teammates get the revive. That's just good camaraderie, being able to say, hey, you guys are fine. Let me take care of this. Get what you need, and let's move forward.
Yeah, there was a bunch on the 2nd floor of this building.
Following you. This is Team Dropped, who was in 2nd place at the end of the first half, but only by 4 points over Team Rogue.
Yeah, so that pressure is still there even for the 2nd place team, because you know everybody's gunning for particularly you. Some of these teams are going to say, yeah, we won't be able to get that 35 bomb to catch up. We're not going to have a 38-point game like Team Nokokopuffs, who we are now watching as he gets revived and that dropship comes in. But yeah, they definitely need to make sure that they keep up the pace, because they cannot get complacent in that 2nd spot. Getting knocked down to 3rd is gonna dash your dreams here. We have Karagii come down, gets into a fight with a Wraith, I believe. Does get knocked. Nokokopuffs has he's got that L-star, so big damage, but a little bit of that mobility getting used by that Wraith player. Hard to track, but he's able to get her knocked, and another kill for Team Nokokopuffs. Karagii is still alive, but I think they're trying to thirst her, so it's like you have to decide, are you going to go for the save, or are you just going to wait and revive her later?
Yeah, Q, you're good.
He's hit by that silence as well, so there's an enemy Revenant that's preventing from using the abilities, making things a little bit more frustrating. Actually does get knocked by him too, so it is just knocked and actually not able to clutch that one. So they are going to be, their squad's going to get eliminated there. I'm not worried about them, Anna. I'm just gonna say it. I can't be super worried, because they did get that absurdly high kill count, 34 kill first place game. So
yeah, I mean, if they're in that position, they've just got to put up a fairly good 2nd score after this to remain in 1st place. So I agree. I'm not worried. They also have over an hour left in this 90-minute kill race, so they can afford to have a few matches like that. They can afford to take a few more risks. They can afford to leave matches they don't feel good about. They're sitting in a really good spot.
Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up too. At this point, it just boils down to having the 2nd game not be low enough to drag them down. So But if there's one thing that we've been able to have, it's every team's been able to get over that 20-point mark for most of the rounds. So I do expect them to be able to get that. Even if they don't win a round, just the amount of kills that they've been getting, they could probably put up 20 kills and finish in 7th place and still be okay in a game.
Right.
As we go back over, we've got PVPX, the Horizon Boop, raising the team into the sky. Is he going to chase and try to use that? Yes. You can use the opposing Horizon's lift.
And this team in the opposite position from what we were just talking about, this is a team that has a really good chance of getting into 2nd place if they put up the best numbers they possibly can from here on out.
Yeah, so they're hungry. They know exactly what they need to do to get it done. And based on the way that they've set themselves up, it is we haven't really had Gibraltar get picked by any of the teams so far. He has really good durability in terms of you have the bubble shield that can just cover your team at a moment's notice. You have the faster revive while you're inside of it. So it's just generally great for a large number of reasons. And the ultimate, you're not usually getting kills with it, but it could be a factor. Having the Octane kind of makes up for that slower composition. Ooh, look at that Bloodhound scan. They see 3 players inside this building. He's going to shield up and say, all right, it's dinner time.
Here we go.
Rogue pushes in, has that Mastiff with the purple bolts. So can get those shells out very quickly. Going to shield up as Emmyuh on PVPX. Going to get hit by an Arc Star. So he wants to rotate around. I thought he was going to try to push the stairs from above. But he's playing the zip line, just trying to make sure that they don't get flanked from a team below them. And look at this. Just finds this little spot in the elevator shaft. He can chill. Not really visible from any of the floors, but he can still see where the enemy is. Gets the scan and almost has this Octane on the bottom. They're trying to chase him towards the stairs. Emmy, he's coming to you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
What is he doing?
What is he doing?
At 90 out on.
On what?
Good question.
You got put up, I think.
Sometimes I feel like there are people who play this game just because of how nice the movement feels, and like they go into the game and they don't really even try to take fights that much. They're just like, yeah, I mean, this is my Spider-Man simulator. You know, I just go around and just kind of swing from place to place and just enjoy the nice graphics. I'm not really here to fight, but if we win, cool.
Yeah, you were talking about how the maps are so wonderful too. It's such a pleasant game to look at, to watch, to spectate as well. I'm a sucker for color, and this game does color in a way that is so refreshing to watch.
It really pops off the screen. I like it a lot. Yeah. When it's like the game gets a little serious and you have like it's just a lot of like dark drab colors, very militaristic. I'm like, I don't know. I like it when the grass and the trees really stand out and just look fresh and beautiful. Running through the fields while I'm trying not to die. At least it's a good view, even if I can't kill anyone myself.
Right.
I'll kill him.
Team Rogue, big team to watch with a lot of pressure. People, other teams nipping at their heels. Going to try and kick this door open.
He went up.
Gets the door break. Has the shoddy ready. Going to slide in through. They are trying to find where this team went. As we can see, even with that Bloodhound, there's not a whole lot of markers, so they were having a little bit of difficulty tracking. And looks like he one-tapped him from far. So nice work. Just finished off a lone straggler.
I only have 1.
3 kills, 4 kills with 14 squads left.
Yeah, Knoqd over here for Team Nokokopuffs at 4 kills as well. Chilling in the same area, but they haven't run into each other. So I would think they should be feeling okay. If they're not, they're probably not in the same lobby then. I would imagine that you try to like, okay, we're going to queue in X amount of seconds and then just make sure we don't accidentally queue at the same time as one of the other teams. Because, of course, that's where it gets messy. We haven't had it happen today. It's been pretty straightforward and clean for everybody so far. But, that's the nightmare scenario for anyone. The last thing you want to do is get put in a lobby with one of the other teams. Unless you're the first place team, because then maybe you're like, okay, good luck trying to come back now.
As you put it earlier, the chaotic evil spectator in me is like, ooh, I want them to queue together. What
just
drama?
Get all 4 teams in one lobby, and they're all like, I actually think if that happens, then they would all probably leave. Like, nope, no, not.
I think they would.
Oh, nice.
Not worth it.
Caustic is 80.
absolutely not. We go over here. We've got BlissKai going through. There's that caustic gas. Very annoying to slow you down, but they did get the knock. Still a couple more traps. You can shoot them out from the bottom, but they don't need to. They're able to finish up this last big fight. Let's see what score they were able to put together with this match win.
It's going to give them that bonus 4 points on top of however many kills they got. We have no idea other than we just saw BlissKai sitting on 4 kills. So let's see what we got from Yoojin and Dropped.
Wayne says we'll get this. Oh, 24! Ooh. Hey! That deserves a little applause there. Not bad at all. 24 kills in first place.
Yeah, that's going to give them an extra 4 points for a total of 28, which is on the higher side in score totals we've seen today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if you're on Team Drop, you get a result like that, you are definitely feeling a lot better about your prospects in this tournament. That is a very nice score. And we take another look back over here at Zachmazer's team. This was the team with the most to prove coming into the second half. Their scores were not bad. They're just a little bit behind where the third and second place teams were. So there's a lot of ground that needs to be caught up. Yeah. If they can pull off a game like we just saw and get up there with that 24-25 kills, then I feel a lot better for them. But the problem is that 24 kill game just came for a team that was ahead of them. So a little bit more to overcome for this team as he's going to come up. Teammate does get knocked, and Zachmazer is able to get one back in kind with that massive rotating around, slides through towards the barrage, and does get another knock there. So wants to thirst these kills since there were some other players around who still taking some fire. Don't know if he got the last one, but he's going to pull back and try to get the res on the teammate before he looks for anyone else.
Yeah, you know, we just saw that 28-point round from Team Dropped, and really what these other two teams, besides Team Nokokopuffs, who's solidly in the lead, these other teams are hoping that Team Dropped is going to not put up good numbers. They're 4 points above their closest competitor. So if they keep putting up good scores, they can easily keep edging out these other teams, unless we start to see some of these 30-point rounds come through from anyone else.
I mean, they actually got the elite soccer.
So it's so hard to do it too, though, right? It's like we just we were able to follow a bit of that last game when we were following Team Dropped, but you know, even for us, we were like, oh, we didn't even realize that they had picked up this many kills when they got the 24. So it might end up being one of those situations. We see a game go really late. We're spectating Nokokopuffs, and he's got 1 kill right now. But maybe Knoqd is going to have 21 kills, right? That's and anything is possible. It has 7 right now, and of course, the ultimate sign of skill in Apex Legends is having the that legendary knife item for Wraith and just spinning it around endlessly.
Right now.
And style points, the most important.
One solo and everybody else
always.
is full.
If you win and you don't do it with swagger, did you really win? The answer, of course, is yes. But winning's definitely cooler when you've got a good celebration dance.
Right. Yeah, that
no longer at this house.
Exactly what you were just saying with Nokokopuffs. We were watching that game, and then Knoqd comes in with 21 kills by himself. So in this case, you know, you really, I'm looking to see another hero emerge on one of these other teams. Someone who can bring in meat like that for their team.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. Somebody needs to step up and just pop off unbelievably hard if they want to even come close to contesting this. Nokokopuffs going to get a frag on the way out. They are still outside the ring, so that damage is coming in not crazy hard just yet, but needs to take the time. Phoenix Kit going to get back to full health, full shields. Octane, you know, once he gets back out, of course, there's the passive health regen, so he's not quite as concerned about the damage as some other players might be. And these guys know what they're doing. They've been in these tough spots before. I think we did get a little bit more info, perhaps on the state of the scores we'll be looking at in a moment. But Team Nokokopuffs gets back inside of the ring, and they're ready to keep moving forward and getting frags. I think so far between the two that I've been able to see, they're at like 12, 13 kills. Don't know how many Karagii has, but yeah, this team has been crushing it.
I did get some of our scores, and I would say you're not going to believe this, but you will, because Team Nokokopuffs has posted 2 scores. We know about that one 36, and guess what? They did another 36, so they have 2 36s so far.
Unreal. Unreal.
We're going to actually take a look at the whole scoreboard right now. We can give you an update as to where everyone stands. Everyone has put up 2 scores, so things are getting interesting. Oh, looks like we're only showing 1 score for each. I mentioned that we have 2 36s for Nokokopuffs. We'll have to confirm that as we go, but I'm pretty sure that's the truth. Rogue has put up a 22, Zachmazer has put up a 21, and Dropped has put up a 28. So we talked a lot about how Rogue is only, as of the first round, 4 points behind Team Dropped. And Team Dropped keeping up the high scores. Team Rogue so far not being able to close that gap, even though it may seem a little bit small. Those 4 points and now these 6 points between these two teams is going to be a gap that must be closed by that legendary hero we were just talking about.
Yeah, 84 points is definitely a great spot for Team Drop to put themselves in, really creating some distance against Zachmazer and Rogue. They're just struggling to get those big kill games. And well, Team Nokokopuffs, without even having the fourth, without even having their second game from part 2, they're almost at 100 points already, just off of their 3 best scores. So again, that speaks for itself. They've been dominant, they've been crushing it, and we've been feeling nothing but good vibes from this team because they've been feasting in this competition.
Looking at Knoqd right now, we're talking about Noqd's legendary 21 kills all by themselves in one of these earlier matches, now sitting on what looks like 9.
Yeah, they get into a fight, but the whole team is there. They rotate so quickly, and they're able to get that res off. That's, of course, the value of having the lifeline. As you just walk over, you press E on somebody, the robot will pick him up, and you can keep shooting, you can keep doing your thing, and that's super important because, you know, when it comes to Battle Royale, attention is a huge resource in any normal game. You're constantly trying to make sure that you can catch people where they need to be, but it hasn't been so simple because they've just been so quick.
And the guy's not going to respawn. One might die out of the zone, which that's the solo.
And I know for full 3 they should be like in landslide.
And they're getting towards the end of another round too, as Knoqd has 9 kills in this one. Last time we checked with Nokokopuffs, he was at around that 3 to 4 mark, definitely higher. Now does get another knock on their way into the ring. They catch one of these teams trying to rotate through this canyon, and they pick off the Wraith.
Only kill one.
So another kill, up to 10 now for Knoqd. He's got to be feeling good. Some thermite grenades are going to come in with the ring to try and keep them away. Instead, here we have the Void Run from Knoqd. He just wants to get in as close as he possibly can because that ring damage is going to start to tick a little bit harder and not somewhere that you want to get caught. Karagii trying to go for of healing, get themselves back up, and they are just barely there. So Knoqd goes through. He's going to be the first one through the door, and he gets a knockdown immediately, just absolutely popping off. Carrying, I don't want to say just carrying this team because the rest of them are so good, but with the number of kills he's got, I can't not say that he's carrying.
The fearless aggression we're just seeing from him, it's almost, it seems careless, but the fact that he's getting so many kills out of it shows that it's not careless, it's just confident.
I can drop them a movie.
Yeah, they've just been doing so well. It's been so fun to watch them. I really can't believe Knoqd is just... It's just what you said. It's like, yeah, 1v3. Are there 3 people there? And my 2 teammates are healing because they've been getting harassed and attacked all game. Yeah, I can take the 1v3. That's not a big deal. Don't worry, guys. I got this one. I'm gonna just go wipe out 2 squads. I'll be back with lunch. No worries. And then we'll get into the next game after we kill everyone.
You're okay, Carol. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, text me your Starbucks orders. I'll be right back.
Exactly. It's like, I'll go kill everyone. You get the cereal together, you know, for Nokokopuffs, and then we'll figure out whatever else we've got to do. Maybe light some candles and we'll get some celebration music going. Get a little house party after all this. Big stop there. Zachmazer helps to wipe out the team with that last pick on the Wraith. With that wingman, there are only 2 other squads left in this game, so he's playing with those ranged taps. And well, Nate is going to get picked off during all of that, so res in this situation becomes very tricky as the ring is going to force them into those last 2 teams.
Is like F-bomb, you know?
If you're making this decision in this position, what would you do?
Oh, probably just run in and be super confident and die because I have no ability to aim, I think is about where I'd end up. But watching them, that's the whole formula to it, is just keeping the mega aggression. What's interesting, BadGalShay drops her rampage for a second R99. Thinks she wants to find a different weapon to have as a complement to that. Yeah, the R301. She's got a lot of light ammo, So it makes sense just swapping over to the weapons that she has the most resources for. Zachmazer is going to jetpack up to the top where this respawn beacon is and bring back Nate on the team. So still 2 teams left to go in this one. But it's not immediate fight, right? Because this isn't the competitive mode where you're going to have people want to avoid each other because they want placement points more than kill points. Kill points are definitely where it's at here because, again, it's not limited by games. We've got like an hour to go still, so plenty of time to try and get that really good second matchup for, Team Nokokopuffs. Or if you're one of the teams trying to come back, you still have a lot to work with. It's not you're not in the danger zone just yet.
Right. I think we saw that once you get kind of down to that 20 minutes left mark, that's where panic can start to set in. But right now, you've still got plenty of time.
Yeah, we saw that earlier too, with where they're just like, okay, no, did we immediately not get 5 kills on landing? Okay, re-queue. We can't do this. And they might even start doing that soon, because again, when you take it all the way to the final phase, those last couple of teams, and you do need to complete the game before the time runs out, but those last couple teams can be really hard to find when there's still a huge amount of the ring left. So it gets a knock with the L-Star. We're looking at PVPX on Octane. Gets the Thirst finish off, and they were able to get the other player that pushed the door behind them. Is going to take that Kraber, and I will admit, I was thinking earlier, I was saying, hey, maybe playing the long range, you're not going to be able to move as fast as you want to, but we've seen some filthy sniper plays that were not defensive or passive in any way, shape, or form.
We need to rat over here. We literally need to rat.
We are learning from these amazing players, that's to be sure.
Get ready to take it again.
Kill the solo.
No doubt. Now, this ring is quite far along, so we followed a bit of the movement. We saw where they were going as we go back to Zachmazer's team. And it's the same number of squads left, but I feel like the ring on this one is a little bit bigger. I think we're trying to see. Yeah, they are in different games. We're trying to work with the production and see if we can find if these teams were in the same game together, but it seems like those rings are just a little bit differently spaced out, so not quite. So we've got Zachmazer drops down, trying to get with that wingman. Some good shots. Hit 1 for 45, but was not enough to close it out. And now Nate is going to have to put the rest of it on his shoulders, but those other 2 players are still alive, so getting out is not necessarily going to be easy.
Man, that would have been such a good game.
I think I saw that Zachmazer had 14 kills under his belt, which is very respectable.
Not bad. Not bad whatsoever. This is such an intense spot to be in too. Lifeline. Again, we've talked about this a bunch, but you don't have mobility. You just have the little heal drone for yourself, which is nice, but there's not any way to, to get around some of the movement abilities that the other legends have for the outplay. So he does get taken out there, and that will hurt. Still, I think a top 3 finish in that round for them as we go back to Rogue. Emmyuh has respawn timed out. He's still got PVPX on his side. He's got 12 kills. And there's only one other team left.
Oh my fuck. Yeah, but it's out of zone.
I wonder how many kills PVPX has. Looks like 5. So a total of 17 so far.
All right. Well, there can't be more than 3 people left. If there are 3 people, then they're at a numbers disadvantage, which complicates things. But
you need to shoot guys that are.
I don't know. It's like, do you wish that it's a full team as the final one remaining, or do you want to just secure the dub and hope that it's just 1 or 2?
I fucking swear to God.
The kinds of questions that you only ask yourself in a high tense speed race or a kill race, rather.
Shoot them in the air.
And he's pinged him. He's got his eyes on him. Okay, so they actually went for a res, the other team. So it was just 1 player. They let him res, and they get 2 more back. So they could potentially get up past that 20 kill count just off the 2 of them. Gets 1 knocked in the air, which is just insane, by the way. Hitting the guy right as they're jumping out. It's like, how do you even land those shots? Couldn't be me.
Ooh, wow. So they are going to get those 4 bonus points.
I don't even know how much time we have left.
You got enough. You got enough time left so far.
Who are the Apex champions?
Well, I don't think we're close, so we're still good.
22 kills, not bad at all. And you can really see the value there of getting those extra 2 kills by letting that last player revive. That's just good forward thinking. You have to have the awareness to say, okay, what's the best move here? It's not actually kill them and win. Time is precious, yes, but 2 more kills here, even if that just ends up being their second game, that's a really strong one to have.
I can't stop thinking about the metaphor of cattle. That every time that they're farming like that, I'm thinking like, yes, my livestock. Here you are.
I think they wore off. I might have overlapped. It's fine, right?
That's how it feels, though. You know, we can definitely see that they've all got the skills to win these games. It's just about getting the numbers up as high as you can. So it's not even just about playing against people. It's about manipulating them into doing what will maximize your score individually. And that's, honestly, that's just where it gets really crazy. I think that's what makes it so hard coming in on the start of another round. We've got Zachmazer with the L-Star. Able to land a few hits early on. Does get the knock on the first opponent. Drops down, opens the front door, looking for the other. Has the Mozambique as the secondary. Not the weapon that you want to have to rely on, but if he needs to, might be able to get it done anyway. 3 shots left on that bad boy, and does manage to close the distance and get that kill. So they are off to a aggressive start, which they definitely need. This is the team, Zachmazer, that has, I mean, they've got the most pressure on them. They really, really need to get up towards, I almost gonna say, like, if they want to have a chance at second, they're gonna need like a 30 kill game, which, well, that's a very hard thing to do.
Right. We've only seen one team do it so far. That's Team Nokokopuffs. And to review, we thought that we had seen 2 36-point scores from them. It's actually just one. There was a misunderstanding on the standings. So only one 36-point game, Nate. You know, just one of them.
Just one.
Yeah. So far.
I do. I was gonna say I love that you mentioned they're the only team with a 30-point game, because they've done it here. They've done it once in the second half, but they also did it once in the first half. They've really shown that they've just got all that movement down, and like you were saying, they're so comfortable with taking the comms from each other and just covering each other's backs. But coming up here, Zachmazer tries to jetpack up, gets knocked kind of in an isolated position. Enemy Octane running away. These situations are always really stressful because you really want to get this kill, but it's Octane, who's, I mean, this whole entire thing is being super crazy fast. So if he doesn't expose himself, you're going to have to run really far to try to catch him. And especially with a lifeline, you're really not going to catch an Octane that wants to run away from you. So Nate is kind of forced to just walk back over and say, okay, get the res. We'll just have to try to find those kills somewhere else. But they are the team that needs it, so it hurts a bit.
We can't res either because there's so many angles.
We're unsure if these two teams might be in the same game. It may have finally happened.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They're just scanning me back and forth.
As we're looking from the perspective of team dropped, and the player that they knocked is not a name that I recognize, so I'm not sure if that was quite them or if they were nearby in this area. But always love a little bit of chaos. What can I say? If they end up being in the same game, I will just I will do my sadistic thing and just laugh that it's a very hard position for everybody to play from.
We're looking at team dropped right here. Currently, or at least as of the first half, in second place, trying to defend that title.
Yeah, and they have had a big round drop too, so they're doing very well on the points, right? They had that 28-point game on the first scoreboard check that we had, which is been quite a hard number to hit. And Bliss knocked down while Dropped is trying to get some shields up, as Yoojin is also getting very low. So both teammates knocked. Bit of a clutch situation. You're going to need to clear out anybody that's left here. Gonna go stick the res. I don't mind this. There's not a whole lot of room to work with in this collapsed bridge area of Fragment. And if you know the enemy is far away, it's not really quite the same level of risk. Always kind of boils down again to whether they're playing with the mobile legends or not. They do get scanned by the Bloodhound though in this bridge, so it's like, okay, they know where we are. We're gonna need to step out and kind of spread ourselves a little.
I cracked him. Good. Go inside. He armor swapped that white.
Yeah, so they're calling out the armor swap. So just picking it up in the middle of the fight, especially if you're able to kill somebody, you're gonna, when you take their shields, it's always gonna be fully charged off of them. So it's a good call out to make because you'll think somebody's really low, but if that armor piece is there, sometimes you'll leave one in a not so easy to see spot, so you can just go back to it and grab it in the middle of a fight. Good heads up call by the team.
Still, I mean, their Bloodhound's down. They're trying to keep Lifeline up, but she's been getting bullied by this enemy team in this fight.
I just dropped the on my head.
Oh shit, I can't. They're gonna push that.
Need to recharge my shields.
Got a shitload.
Just using a Phoenix kit. Half gone, half left.
Dropped has 6 kills right now with 10 squads left.
Like these guys just.
You can feel the somber tone as Wraith says that. By the way, half gone, half left, and a reminder to the players that it isn't just about making it to the end. It is about being the reason why they get to the end, taking out everybody else in the lobby with as much speed and precision as they can muster. We have Zachmazer trying to get some taps with the G7 Scout. Of course, like we were saying, it's tough when you're trying to play with these ranged tools, because if you can't get in close enough to finish them off, or if the team is able to rotate around the downed player at a distance, then pushing it becomes even more risky sometimes. Scout is a nice, fun weapon to make use of. He's just going to get up close and personal with the shotgun here, though, as there's the Mirage ult. Which one's the real one? He found him. You turn invisible when you're knocked down. That's fine. He'll get you there, too. He turns invisible when he gets knocked down, but he doesn't, like, teleport, like, 5 feet away or anything. So he can really only be in so many places, even though he's invisible. It's not that hard to find.
Row.
Oh, we got another team.
This way.
Give me a second.
Try to do as much damage as you can before you die. That's all.
What an encouraging thing to hear from your teammate when you're in a fight, by the way. Just try to do as much damage as you can before you die. I don't care about anything else. And it's like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it there in time. It's just the way it is.
He's shielded.
Going to get a couple more cleared out. I think that's 6 that he's at right now. Could be, actually, might
There's
be
nothing I can do there.
my, this is, you know, the streams, we're trying to follow it. Gets a little messy from time to time, but they do get cleared out. Unfortunately, we jump back over to Team Nokokopuffs as the leader is actually out. Karagii is knocked, and knocked, well, he's got about 5% of his hit points remaining. So going to disengage, try to get a heal off of some kind, get that shield battery through. And I don't know if you make a play for the res, that's going to be very hard to do. There's still 8 other squads, and Nokokopuffs respawn is timed out, so he cannot be brought back. Which, well, that doesn't make things easier. But I guess if we're talking about teams that can afford to make mistakes, it is Nokokopuffs.
Right. I was going to say, you know, is this the point where maybe they leave and try it for another match? But this team has such high scores already that maybe they don't feel the need to do that.
Yeah. I think he's asking about kills.
If I didn't die,
So he's saying he has 6.
And they just res, so yeah.
Oh, and the caustic gas getting involved. So there it is. He's like, you know what? If I die, it's fine. I think is what he just said, because, well, they're not really at risk, and they probably would have wanted to re-queue anyway instead of going for the respawn. So if he had gotten a triple kill there, then I guess they might have said, okay, yeah, we'll play it out, whatever. But
the other guy is also
not much
there,
lost,
so be careful.
as they are still in a phenomenal position, very securely in first place
Behind
so far still.
I believe we've got about 45 minutes left.
Run.
So
Yeah, just run.
probably the last 2 or 3 chances
I
these
need that
teams
lead,
have
but I can't get it
to
yet.
put up a really great game.
I'll grab it. I gotta fucking use it.
They get a couple nice shots
took
from
height?
Team
Nice.
Rogue, as the circle's going to push them out of the city, but they're just going to kind of wait over here, do the heals outside of the safe zone, just in case there was anybody trying to guard the edge by... There's a couple of canyons you have to go through to get out of here, either train tunnels or you just go between those 2 mountains. So if somebody's going to be camping, the last thing you want to do is just barely get into the circle and then heal, because that's where their eyes will be. They kind of play safely. Now they move in. Bloodhound scan goes out. They're just trying to make sure nobody's hiding or ratting around where they are. It looks like they actually did get somebody at on the very edge. I didn't even see them. Good grab by that team.
You want to slam that mobile res down for him?
Yeah, slam it down.
I mean, you had it, don't you?
I thought you had one as well. Alright. Is that a...
And now they'll rotate south through there.
You're fighting?
See when they can run into some other teams. Going to go away from a harvester out east. Good couple of buildings over here. Lots of players like to hide in these spots, especially since they're centrally located. So it's not a bad place to check. You can get some loot, and very likely to find any of the more passive players hiding in there. And of course, if you're a team and you play Apex and you don't normally like to fight a whole lot, you're not going to have the experience that these guys do, which is part of why they're able to just absolutely wreck everybody this hard. Does get eyes on one of them on the roof. 84 damage, and the rest of the team is collapsing. Rogue, they want to hold on to that second place spot. I honestly don't think you can be upset just getting second, because you know that tomorrow's pretty much overtime between the top two teams.
Yeah, this team actually, if I'm not mistaken, has just put up for this round a 22, and I think they were the ones who were hounding Team Dropped, which was in second place coming out of the last round. Team Dropped has put up a 28 so far this round. We're waiting on both of their second scores, but Rogue here is really, really looking for a high-scoring game here to put themselves back in contention.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, Zachmazer, the only one still standing in this round. Looks like they're, I guess, the non-revivable or whatever reason. The third player has disconnected from this specific round. Still 14 squads to go, though, so it's not going to get any easier for them. Does get one more knock, but doing it all on your own is very difficult. Valkyrie has great mobility. She's got the jetpack, can maneuver relatively easily with that. You know, don't have to worry about reach and stuff when you can just fly up to it. And the rockets are great for zoning enemies away, but it's not quite that I'm going to zip in, revive my teammate, and zip out. That's not really an option. I guess you could use her ultimate if it's ready when you get the res, but even that has a bit of a charge up time, so not a safe thing. Since, well, they need to get kills anyway. She's going to get into a fight on the top of this roof. Little crouch moves going on. Some tappy toes. Good fighting out of both of them.
Wow. You missed everything?
Yeah, we've seen Zach in this position a few times now, where the lone hero trying to carry the team to a few more kills.
Lazy with my aim.
Is he dropping? No, he's on the. He's up there by himself.
Checking out Team Dropped.
Another one. Yeah.
As far as we know, still in second place.
I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, they've been putting up a great performance today, and we've been seeing those comms. I think something so important, having the shot caller to tell you where you need to go, where you need to be. You know, in any competition, especially something that's like mixed titles, or you know, you're bringing in a variety of people that aren't all pro FPS players. Perhaps even more important than your ability to aim as a third teammate on some of these games is your ability to just take direction and understand what somebody means when they tell you to do something, because they know, you know, if you can just rely on the person that knows the game well enough, like Team Nokokopuffs and stuff like that, that really helps a tremendous amount. So she sees the enemy getting rezzed in front of them, and sometimes it's actually okay to let that happen. If you don't get the knock, if an enemy team gets the knock, they'll get the kill if you finish the player off. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind with how scoring in Apex Legends works. So you don't actually want to just thirst somebody else's knockdowns, because that doesn't really do as much for you. Able to get the res on both teammates too. Nice moves over there as we go back to Team Nokokopuffs. Got the flatline Eva 8. So ready to get up close and personal with the shotgun if he needs to. And that jump pad mobility, again, cannot overstate how valuable it is. Has the high ground. We've talked about that a few times today, Anna.
Team looking very, very healthy as we came in to check on them.
I threw.
Maybe a little less so right now, but...
we were like, oh, looking healthy. And there's just immediately panic sounds got MP3.
No!
No.
I grab these.
Karagii going before the clutch. Oh, here's that self-res we were talking about. There you go. So Nokokopuffs is actually able to pick himself up. What a good friend to himself right there. Nice work.
That's self-care right there.
Hey, that is peak self-care.
Yeah.
You can sometimes, you know what? I love that comparison, because sometimes in life that's what you got to do. You got to take some time to pick yourself up a little bit. You know.
Either you need a bath bomb or you need a res. Either one.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go for the ban.
Bath bombs for days. High level plays.
This can still be a really good game. There's 22.
I only have 2.
Bringing the team back to life.
Yeah, great res. Can go get the banner for Karagii and bring her back. And crazy to think, right? Because all 3 players knocked down, but able to make the most of it. Even in the art of dying slowly, he was able to not be targeted down or thirsted by the enemy team. And that was alone enough to bring the whole entire team back into play. So with 40 seconds to grab the banner, I'm sure they'll be able to do that and get that res. There is another team over here, though. Watson with the fences lined up. It's going to shield swap on top, go towards the elevator shaft, and drop from behind. And, just really good use of the positioning, saying, look, I don't need to go through the electric fence. I can just go around it. Wipes the whole team. And did they get the banner? Say it. Tell me. Okay, they did. Karagii does not get left out on the fun of this game, because this has been a wild one.
Self-care first, and then your friends.
Up top. The Valk is southwest.
If you have no hit points, you're unlikely to be able to save them, right?
Right.
Oh, there's a...
It's all about putting your mask on first, then help others.
I'm going to you right now. I'm going to you.
And it's been working. It's been a good strategy for that team as we go back over to Team Rogue. Has the Bloodhound ult active, almost able to track down with that 301 on the left side. Goes for the scan, sees one of them is on top to the left. The teammate is still knocked at the bottom of the stairs. So if he tries to get the res, will likely get attacked. So gets the knockdown. Really, just look at the decision making. Okay, I need to get my teammate, but I can see that the enemy has kind of put themselves at a crossfire angle to get me if I go for them, and is able to pick up that kill on the tail end of it. The other teammate did come by for the res, though, so it's going to slide back down the ramp. But look at that, turns into a 2v1, and already tracking a decent amount of damage onto them.
This is a really good game for Rogue. This is what we've been talking about that they need. Rogue's sitting on 13 kills. So depending on what else is happening in the round kill-wise, this may be one of the ones that could edge them closer to that second place spot.
For sure. This is exactly the kind of game that they're looking for. Huge amounts of kills across the board. Even now, just looking at PVPX has 8 kills, and I think we were looking at, what was it, 13 or 14?
13.
For Rogue himself. So if Emmyuh has any kills and they're able to take out the last couple of players in this lobby, they might be hoping for a res from the final team so that they can add 3 more to that. Would be absolutely huge, and exactly the kind of thing like we were talking about before. Just trying to put yourself in a position where you can give yourself those opportunities to come back, and they've done that. This game is potentially a very big piece of that puzzle for them if they're able to make it into second place.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this one will finish out, because they kind of have to do perfect from here on out in order to make this one really worth it. Get them close to team dropped.
Can you come to me?
And he uses the Bloodhound scan. So Emmyuh did time out. It's a 2v3. The Bloodhound scan revealed inside the building. Very defensively postured is that whole squad. So they're actually going to retreat. They're going to pull back towards where that next circle is. They say, okay, look, we don't want to waste time, but this game is too valuable to give up now. So they position themselves so that the enemy team has to come out towards them. And that, we know they're going to land their shots. So they're putting themselves in a situation where they can control the outcome of this game, and it looks pretty good so far. There's some high ground for the enemy, but it will go away eventually. And they have that Kraber.
Okay, I'm throwing nades on them.
123 on the Gibby.
Okay, I'm
123 hits.
They have a minute to res. Let's just do it.
Stemming to you.
They have a minute to res. Let's just do it. Get it over with.
Stemming to you. Valkyrie's flying up right now.
Okay, I'm flanking.
AD1 Gibby.
Okay. Nice, good job.
Gibby knocked.
On me.
Crack this guy.
Okay, no, wait, don't fight. Okay, hold on.
Can't
get the thirst yet. No, he's on me.
Beautiful comms. Great engage.
Shoot him one bit.
Cleared him out.
Can I thirst the other guy?
You need to look for me. I'm fine.
Are they talking about not trying to kill the other guy? They want him to go res? Is that what they're trying to do? Give him that opportunity?
Jesus, fuck.
That would make sense.
Fucking hide your fucking nuts.
Trying to get as many kills as they possibly can out of this game.
I have 9 right now. What are you at?
Yeah, Rogue getting down to 5 health with no shields. I was like, is he? Maybe he'll just not risk it and go for it. But
so we're fine.
The confidence. Tom at 14.
We might just want to secure the dub. No, he's going back.
No, he's going back. He's going back. That's huge.
I need shoddy ammo. I need light ammo. If I'm gonna,
because when that ring closes in, it's like basically he needs to go get the res right now. The circle is going to
Okay. then we need to
remove
get
that
ready to be right on
respawn
top of this.
beacon
Kill
from the
guys as they go
field
for loot
in a
boxes.
few
So He's not
seconds.
using it yet. He's going for it now. It's going to be another one of situations. Use your main gun, okay? Don't use your Kraber.
Yep.
He's using it. Yep. Oh my god, I'm fucking horned up. Guys getting fucking... Yep, here we go.
All right, so they're going to try to make the play on this as the respawn ship comes in. Clearly excited
Focus those fuckers
as
in the
this
air.
is going to be a massive kill game for them, as PVPX has 9 of them. So they are going to be taking some circle damage right as they begin to drop out. So they do want to get at least some bullets into them so that the kill gets credited towards them.
Yeah, you only got one.
Looks like he only said they only res one of the teammates, so it's 2 more kills for them. They get the match win, and I'm quite excited to see what the total looks like here, Anna. This is a big game for Team Rogue.
Yeah, this score is going to be really good. The question is going to be, is it good enough to put them ahead, to close that gap between them and the teams that they are
I think
chasing?
we might still have like 18 minutes left.
They are correct. They
That
do
was a
have
30
quite a
point,
few
30
minutes
point.
left.
Very
In
much
fact,
needed.
about a half hour. 26 plus 4. Is that a 30-point game?
I think so. Beautifully done.
Wait, you can't.
Very, very well done.
Actually,
And that, I mean,
I
if
think
they're able to put up one more of
play.
those, I don't know. The numbers are getting a little bit dicey because we did have that one high-scoring game off of our, I think the 28-point game that we had earlier from the second-place team dropped. But they're making it up a little bit by bit.
If my numbers that I have are correct, what's really interesting is that that score might put them ahead of Team Dropped in this second half by, let's see, it might be enough points to actually usurp the second place title. Like, that game might have actually done it for them.
Yeah, that's huge. Absolutely huge. Every single kill now so important between that third and second place team. It has been a struggle, to say the least. We take another look over at Team Nokokopuffs. Or I guess we could call them Team Kill Everybody in the Lobby. That's all that they have been doing. They're gonna roll up on this squad. Knoqd gets 1, gets 2. I think that was the Caustic on the roof. Could not get it done on his own. The assist comes out the other side. There are still 2 more squads remaining in this game. And is that 15 kills for Knoqd? What an animal. He's been unbelievably good today.
I mean, I killed one. I full killed one.
Oh, did you? So it's 2 left?
So what is Knoqd had 15, Karagi's got 2.
I'll go kill him
If we get a chance on Nokokopuffs, let's see what their total's looking like. If they end up beating one of their previous records or scores, I'll be equally mind blown.
Yeah, we know that their highest score so far has been a 36-point round. And actually, the second over 30 team, or meeting 30 team that we've seen was just now Rogue.
Maybe.
Did you hit him?
No.
Yeah, how about that? Finally, somebody else getting up into that big point territory.
I didn't want to
It's
kill
been
him. I
a
just killed the
nice day of some Apex
I
Legends.
think they already have the other guy's banner.
Been really nice getting to see everybody bring their best stuff forward. Even the teams that have been struggling a little bit more than our top squads, they've been doing phenomenally. Tons of frags. By any other measure, would consider pretty much all of the games played by all of these teams successes. All the ones that they've taken down to the wire anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, and I can't agree enough that even our team that's in 4th place right now, putting up some scores that are so amazing. We're talking about, a 1st place team that's just putting up scores that are more amazing. So
yeah.
All of our teams showing us amazing games today.
That's like, oh yeah, you got a 95 on the test. That's awesome. I got a 99. It's like, well, okay, I guess I lose, but it doesn't mean that you did a bad job. It's just hard. It's a hard game.
You both got A's.
Exactly.
They sure did use that one.
I feel like this could be a solo.
17 kills on Knoqd this game, which is amazing to think that this still won't touch his previous record, unless maybe if he gets everybody else that's left, it could be 5 people. He could get to 22, maybe.
I'll just go kill the other team now.
If both other full teams are complete, he could add 6, break his own record. I guess that could be what he's shooting for.
Care package coming in.
Using the balloon to go up. They're just trying to find him. You know, like we were saying, the circle is usually much smaller when there are this many people left in a competitive game. But when you get to you unleash the high skill players into the pub lobbies, that's when we get a lot of space left because they kill everybody well before the circle's closed. They do find one of those teams by this house in the southeast. Karagii tries to go for a kick, does miss, but has the R99 ready for the follow-up. There's that EVA 8. I love that skin on it too. It just takes up the whole screen, and it is such a power move. Boss skin, Karagi's EVA 8-1, the dragon, and gets another squad wipe. Very well done. But don't worry, Knoqd has already found the next team, and he's already starting to kill them too.
I believe that the 2 scores we're seeing from Team Nokokopuffs. Oh, let's see what this one is. Let's find out.
Okay, I think that was his 6th kill, if I read that correctly. So I think he's like, he's got to feel good after that.
Just see his fucking input. I could just see him like he spun in circles like 3 times.
Poor guy just probably broke wrist.
Some glee, well-deserved glee from this team.
He like pops his all.
They've earned it.
Oh.
27.
Bro, wait a minute.
Okay.
All right,
I think I know who the first place team is. I think I might know who the first place team is, Anna.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a 36 from that team and a 31 from that team so far in this round. Combining that with their amazing score from the first half, there's just no question of them being in first place at this point.
Or were they like up like 20 or like 7 or so points after the end of the first half, and now they've the 36 and a 31 point game. Go Team Nokokopuffs. They're gonna be sleeping very easy tonight because they have definitely put in some incredible work. But who else is going to join them tomorrow? Big question on our minds as we get another look back over at Team Rogue. We've got 5 kills with 15 squads left on Rogue himself, so the potential for a big kill game looks actually pretty good here. PVPX has 2 kills as well, and there's plenty of other players on the table because they're able to get another knock over by the train station here in East Fragment.
West side, going toward you guys.
Team Rogue was actually tied with Team Dropped in this round previously until that last game we saw with 30 points up on the board, which now puts them ahead in this round. But if what I'm looking at is correct, it puts them 1 point behind Team Dropped in overall.
It's a 1 point difference between second and third.
Yes. So what that means is for Rogue to get that second place spot, they need Dropped to not pick up any better scores, and they also need to put up 1 better score.
Okay, we did it. We got to the high stakes drama section of the tournament. There is officially not a whole lot of time left, but a 1 point difference. Now, and just I believe that this is the way that things are laid out. You do have to finish the game that you get those big kills in. So this game, I think they could definitely make it to the end too. But if they finish this game and don't get enough kills to lock that spot in, they may not have enough time to actually play through a whole other match to get those points, and I think that's where it becomes really terrifying because this round right here might be the one they have to do it. If they want to restart, I actually don't know if they would have the time unless they're able to kill everybody very fast.
Yeah, they have 25 minutes left, and their scores, they had that 30 we saw, and they have a 26. So if they can manage to get a 27, or rather a 28, to get that 1 point over Team Dropped, then they could clinch it as long as Dropped doesn't also put up a higher score.
Okay, that was 3 minutes. Nice.
Let's actually take a look at the scoreboard right now because we're telling you a lot of numbers, but I want to see it laid out. I want to make sure that I'm correct here. Yes, so Team Rogue, as we mentioned, put up that 30-point game, which brought them within 1 point of Team Dropped. Team Nokokopuffs, 129 points. Yeah, we get it. They win. That's fine. However, Rogue and Dropped right here are the contenders because Dropped has a 25, Rogue has a 26. So if Dropped gets even 1 point higher than 25, they're gaining distance between them and Rogue. If Rogue manages to get a 27, they would tie Dropped. If they manage to get a 28, they would win as long as Dropped doesn't put up any higher number. So this really, it comes down to these last, like you said, probably 1 game each, maybe 2 if they're lucky.
It's a very stressful bingo card of scores that we're looking at. I did not have 129 on my sheet, but wow, Team Nokokopuffs. Absolutely dominant performance today. We get another look at them. They've been enjoying landing and fragment, getting it done, taking big aggressive fights. I'm sure these guys are basically like, okay, we're just going to play through the rest, run out the clock, take a knee, and enjoy some sweet, sweet victory. The pressure is off. They've really just had just a heck of a day, and it's been beautiful to watch. Gets another great knock with that Prowler, and gonna try to follow the Mirage with the ult. All the little clone hallucination guys dancing around everywhere. Makes it a little hard to track.
I can't even
almost ulting. Yeah, can I get that? Thank you.
I have no ammo.
I'm curious what the highest kill count for an individual player was. I would wager that it was probably Knoqd with that 21.
Yeah, it has to be, right? It would be really impressive if any of the other players had it, and I only say that because I feel like if that was the case, then they probably would have been a little bit closer in score to Team Nokokopuffs. And when you land shots like that, gets the headshot with the shotty from above in the elevator with basically no time to really react, just instant boom headshot. Well, we know why Knoqd has been he's put the team on his back. I have nothing bad to say about Nokokopuffs or Karagii, but Knoqd has really stepped up for his team, and he has taken so much of the stress of the competition off their shoulders. I just hope that the other two are as good as Knoqd is at our variety games tomorrow. Those will
That's a really good point.
It'll be fun to see how those skills translate once they're in the cooking competition.
You know, I would say, though, I think that we've seen really amazing team comms with that team. Even though we're seeing the highest kill count from Knoqd, that also means that the team is communicating effectively. They're knowing when to hang back, when to help, all of that. So I would also wager that that's going to be very important tomorrow in those party games. Communication is key for those. So they're definitely putting in a strong showing that lends itself to believing that they may be moving on to that PC build.
Oh, yeah. And that's, again, I'll be honest, we've had this whole entire show. I've been thinking about it. I still don't even know. I'm like, what is my flex? There has to be like some sort of just completely needless thing you put in a $15,000 custom PC build to flex. And I still haven't figured it out. Like maybe instead of just the regular like lights, you get a little screen in there and you can just have a video play. If someone looks inside your PC, you've just got like a little music video or something insane going on. I really have no idea, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Whatever they end up coming up with.
I like the monitor idea. Like maybe an audience side, so someone could sit and watch your game from the side of the PC.
Oh, that's okay. That might be it. That might be the idea right there. Just get a second screen built into the side.
I love it. The craziest one I've ever seen in the past is I did see a PC build with a mini fridge inside of it once for Evil Geniuses.
Oh.
But that one takes a lot of power and a lot of coolant, so I don't know if it's worth it. I like the monitor idea better.
Yeah, it's not a situation I've been in very often where I'm like, what else would I add? What else am I gonna throw onto this?
How do I spend all this money?
Good problems, good questions to have to ask yourself as they're gonna get cleared out of that lobby. And where they go from here, they're gonna get back into it. Time is of the essence, though, right? I think we're looking at like 15-20 minutes now remaining.
Yeah, I think 20, but they just said 10, so I'm gonna double check, make sure that my count is correct.
All right, and we take a look back over here at Zachmazer's team using the redeploy on Valkyrie. You see that green HUD pop up, looking for any markers to signal where other players might be. But even these supply bins over here by him have not been opened, so no sign of the enemy. There's only one other squad for them to deal with, and we have 11 kills on Zachmazer. Their biggest struggle right now is that they 100% would need basically two, 35-point games here if they were going to make it happen, and they haven't gotten one of them. And I do believe we did get a time clarification, Anna?
Yeah, it looks like we actually do only have 10 minutes left.
Oh, boy.
So these are the final games.
Yeah, not a whole lot of opportunities left here. At least finish out strong. you know, peeps are watching. You gotta do it at the very least. You gotta do it for the fam. But if you can't do it for the tournament, just get the kills, end on a strong note, and do everything that you possibly can to just get that dub. As we have the is that the heat shield's going to deploy for the circle coming in potentially.
Down another movie right here. He's going to be confused. He's freaking out. Yeah, don't kill the lifeline. He's right in front of
You also mentioned that these teams do have to finish these games before time runs out in order to get credit for the kills. So they're going to be rushing to get as many kills as they can as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, you don't want to get into a stalemate situation now. Get everybody that's left in the lobby. Do your best. Close it out as hard as you possibly can. Some good picks here. Rogue gets him with the EVA 8 as he tries to run inside.
That's 15 for Rogue. Are they going to do it? Are they going to get that one more point that they need and be able to move forward to second place?
I am getting that vibe from this game. I desperately need to know what the scores that the other players on this team have, because there's actually 5 squads left. So there are potentially 10 plus kills on the table. I mean, I'm not going to say that Rogue will single-handedly get all of them himself, because that would be wild and crazy and awesome, but the team's got to step up here too. Actually, this PVPX has 8 kills himself. So I think we're approaching exactly what you were talking about, Anna. They might be able to break that 27-point barrier and seal the deal on a trip to day 2.
This is where the neutral good part of me comes out, and it's like, let's give it to them both. Look, they both, I mean, 1 point. It's such a little. I'm gonna feel so bad for whichever team,
let's go kill this,
you know, loses it by 1 point, or the few.
Kill some of these points right here. Come here.
Yeah.
But someone has to win.
I was gonna say, not everybody can get the $15,000 PC.
I know. See, I don't get it, so we know at least not everyone is.
Fair enough.
It's one guy shooting down.
We have them. They're kind of up over by just northeast of both fragments, kind of out towards this big shattered ice. Out by the research. Got high ground on this team. Every kill here, unbelievably valuable. It's actually crazy that there's still so many players that were left. They had a lot of options in front of them. Rogue's going to drop down. And there you see that Bloodhound ult. Even with the smoke, can see everything. Able to track, get another kill. Going to go for a little bit of a swap action right in the middle of this fight. Has that level 5 Evo shield. So he is feeling good. He's feeling strong. Gets the next upgrade on the backpack so he can hold a little bit more of those resources if he needs them. You can really see when you have players that play at this level, every time we look at those inventory screens, it's all shields. So like, I don't need to hold a bunch of ammo. Nobody wants grenades. Like maybe you take an arc star or 2, but it is so they're so very focused on having that sustain so that they don't have to waste time looking for heals. As long as you don't have to look for a heal, they feel like they can work their way through any situation, which they have done incredibly well in this game. Almost getting another knock for Rogue, who's at 18 kills right now, Anna.
0.0 HP.
If that's an 18 plus the 8 we already saw, I'm not sure, or a 9. Okay, I'm not sure if that was a 16 or an 18. But let's
you're right. It could be.
Let's say it was a 16, just for fun. And there's a 10. That's 26, which is their current highest score. So if they manage to win this game and get that +4, that would be a 30-point game.
Yeah, I was about to say, even if they got 3rd place, it at least gives them the 1 point to make it the 27 that we were just talking about. Either way, so the worst case scenario is the draw. If they get another kill, they take the lead. Obviously, there may have been another game that was being played on the other side. We don't know 100%. We'll have everything checked after this, but this is a really, really unbelievably important moment for Rogue's team, as there are 2 squads left, so potentially 6 more kills are possible to be grabbed. He's going to get the respawn on Emmyuh and bring her back into it, so they'll have the full brunt of their force to try and close things out. What an intense situation they've got in this, but hey, they have their destiny in their own hands. Enough players were available for them to kill that they actually have caught up just about.
We need to make sure that we can.
I'm so curious how Team Dropped is doing, because as long as Team Dropped is not doing well enough to put up a higher score than they already have, then this looks like Rogue taking the 2nd place spot.
Were they at the building?
Yeah, this pressure is unbelievable, but at some point you have to, they're probably feeling a little bit relieved. They're like, they know that they have a lot of kills, and again, we haven't seen. Actually, does Emmyuh have any kills? Because
we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we have 20 at worst, 26, right? With what we were looking at before between the other two. Emmyuh actually does have 1 kill, so
that's 27.
They have the points. They have the points to get over that. So it really, unless we had something really big come out of Team Dropped during this match,
No, I don't.
they should just about have it, but they need to end the game.
We're gonna pad north. We're gonna pad northwest. You have to get to me to do it. You have to get to me to do it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's fine. That's fine.
I think the only question now comes into time.
The Kraber guy took the pad on accident.
Okay,
I just got word Team Dropped has run out of time, so they will not be putting up a higher score. So right now, if nothing else happens in this game, there is a draw between Rogue and Dropped.
Hold on. Hey, this last guy right here.
And they're gonna try to get a couple of knocks. They just need to bring it to the end. Almost, I mean, even if they die at this point, they should get the placement and the kill points that they've had so far, which could potentially be enough.
He's challenging. On my red mark.
Even one more kill here, or the bonus points will clinch it for them.
He gets up. Almost got him. Breaks through the level 5 Evo shield. Coming down towards the bottom side. Has the flat line out. Looking to try and take this last bit of a duel. Bot back to the Eva 8. Just one shell left. Back and forth. Okay, there's another kill. And there was still somebody. There's still a third team. Some person just hiding on their own. And we'll have to keep check between how much time we actually have left between when this game needs to end and where it's going to. They've got eyes on this Pathfinder, and that's it. It's over. They did it.
There's the end of the game.
I didn't want to get knocked, and I was trying to play it slow because he had self-res.
It sounds like they finished in time, unless there's something we've missed. And if that's the case, this score will count. They did finish in time.
They did finish in time. And well, let's look at this beautiful kill count for Team Rogue, because that's what an unreal performance. Everything on the line. The last possible second that boiled down to they needed every last minute of the second half of games today, Anna, and they took advantage of it. They didn't leave anything on the table. Beautiful play.
As a spectator, what more can you ask for? That was an excellent down to the wire competition that was so fun to watch. Thank you to all of the teams for giving us that, and it looks like some congratulations are in order. We didn't see the total. Maybe we'll get to see it here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it bugged out on the end game screen there.
All right, it looks like we're gonna have updates to the scores. Production is gonna tally those for us. We are gonna see these final totals very, very soon. Unless we're wrong, though, it looks like an epic comeback from Rogue, Nate.
Yeah, and that's again. You know, we've got the admins. They're gonna crunch the numbers in the back, figure it all out. We'll get the results, but wow, regardless of whichever way it ends, just Rogue, unbelievable determination in the face of adversity. We talked about a 1-point difference, and it's so hard. We've heard everybody that we've been spectating and watching throughout today's games. At some point on comms, they say, they're like, man, Apex is so hard.
Yeah.
I can't believe how difficult it is to catch up to these teams. And that's, I feel like the way that it ended really puts a nice cap on that. It's been a brutal competition.
Yeah, we saw some really epic calm from Team Rogue in the end there. It was like something, they found their stride. They got in the zone, as it were, and they showed us some amazing games. We're going to see the point total soon. Before we do, because I think the big contention has been between Rogue and Dropped in this second place spot, let's take a moment to congratulate Nokokopuffs. We already know they're in the first place spot. We know that they're advancing toward tomorrow. Convincing play across the board from them. We've kind of ignored them because they're so good we don't even need to talk about it. But Nokokopuffs definitely our champion today.
Yeah, they were so good. They did a really good job. It was awesome to see. And I'm not sure if I'm hearing that we're going to be having the scoreboard able to be seen soon, and we'll get that final tally. Oh.
I can't wait to see it. Here we go. Wow.
There you have it. Talk about a heck of a way to finish things off with that 30-point game. 117 points for Team Rogue. Just unreal. And of course, like you were saying, Anna, Team Nokokopuffs with 129.
Congratulations to Team Nokokopuffs. And Team Rogue, coming into the second half, I remember we had this conversation. We were like, if Team Rogue wants to pull it up and beat Team Drop for team second place, they're going to have to pull out some of those 30-point games. And they were like, all right, here you go. Here's 2 30-point games at the very last moment. So ending up with 117 points. They are going to be our second place team. Drop with a very, very respectable 109 points. And Zachmazer finishing out with 80 points total. All these teams put on such a great show. Thank you to all of them for some really entertaining gameplay, and congratulations to the two teams that will be continuing on to tomorrow. These are our winners. We've got Team Nokokopuffs with Knoqd and Karagii, as well as Team Rogue with PVPX and Emmyuh. Now, we've got to change our focus from Apex Legends to Overcooked 2 and Pummel Party. What do you think we can expect from these teams there, Nathanius?
If they bring the same level of intense competition and ferocity, I'm excited to watch the most competitive Overcooked of my entire life. I can't say that I've actually seen what that looks like, but I'm ready to find out. The teamwork, and I think the biggest thing that you mentioned from both teams, the comms and the calm, just being able to keep everything together, communicate with your teammates. I'm just so excited to see what ends up happening, who makes it to the build phase and gets that $15,000 custom PC, because they will definitely have earned it.
The calm comms, as you said. Absolutely. We're looking for the calm comms.
Exactly. Communication, such a huge tool, especially in Battle Royale. You're getting hit by people from all different directions. They're trying to chase people down. They're trying to rack the kills up, but they came out on top today. And just, again, I can't say enough. Team Rogue, when they had all the pressure on them in the second half to make the comeback, they did it in stellar fashion.
This has been an excellent show. The players have been amazing. Thank you so much for your analysis and explaining what was going on in the game. It's been fantastic casting with you. I really, really had a great time.
Yeah. Oh, pleasure's mine, Anna. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to cast some Overcooked and Pummel Party with you tomorrow.
I feel like that's where my expertise lies, is in Overcooked. I feel like it is a game that matters a lot to me. So we'll get to that tomorrow. So you need to remember, tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to be starting with Overcooked 2. We're also going to be playing Pummel Party, and we will know by the end of that competition who will move forward to the build phase and get one step closer to that $15,000 PC. This has been an amazing broadcast. Thank you so much to the crew from Intel. It's been a fantastic day. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow, Nate.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Looking forward to see who makes it to the build phase.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
to the way